Good morning, everybody. I hope you are all ready and awake. Taking your seats, please. So we are about to begin. The language regime remains the same, so all languages are available. Okay, our rapporteurs are now taking the floor as well for the resolution. So we do have a quorum. So let's begin. Okay, the debate is the EESC Resolution on the Committee's contribution to the European Commission 2027 Work Programme. Rapporteurs Marcin Nowacki and Carlos Manuel Trinidad and Corina Andrea Marafa Benga. So, yeah. And you are replaced by Lydia. I was looking at you, Lydia. I was wondering, you're not Corina? Okay. Okay, so we are okay, I think. Are we? Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to begin anyway. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to present, Martin or Lydia, whatever. You're ready? So I'll ask you to, and Carlos is here as well. So between you, you can organise the presentation. It's 1 minute each, please, and we will then go to the floor. And as far as I know, it's 1 minute per speaker, depending on who. So we have until 9:30 to finish this. Okay, off we go. The floor is yours, rapporteurs. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll start with the structure of the document of the resolution. So, of course, I'll start with coverage on competitiveness and economy. We, of course, know that if Europe wants to remain prosperous, secure and competitive, we need to move into implementation of all the analysis issues that we discussed so far. There is the Draghi and Letta reports that provided a clear direction. The challenge is execution, and this is how we approach the 2027 work program. First, we must complete and modernize the single market. This means reducing fragmentation in services, accelerating simplification for the Omnibus agenda, adopting the Market-Oriented EU Delivery Act, creating a truly integrated digital market for telecommunications. This is the DNA that was also voted yesterday as the opinion. Again, integrating the capital markets across Europe and making sure that cross-border activities are really open market activities. Second, we require affordable and secure energy. Electrification, stronger interconnectors, modern energy infrastructure, and realistic approach to hydrogen deployment must go hand in hand with reducing dependencies on critical raw materials. So, of course, we address the Critical Raw Materials Act, as well as the clean technology and battery industries. Finally, we must invest into the future of growth, transport networks, digital infrastructure, innovation, health technologies. And this is what we also cover in the resolution with specific asks to the Commission. And the last part from my side is about security. Competitiveness and security are now connected. Europe must strengthen its defense technological base, accelerate flagship defense projects, improve military mobility, and protect critical infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. Carlos, is it? Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Because I will speak in my mother tongue, please put your phones. Thank you. Atualmente, os cidadãos europeus, Estados-membros e a União Europeia enfrentam vários desafios. O Marcin acabou de falar na questão, particularmente, das empresas e da economia, pela parte que me foi distribuída, eu abordarei a questão social e a questão da visão internacional. Nesse sentido, não podemos deixar de afirmar que combater a pobreza, em particular, muitos trabalhadores são pobres, é um desígnio fundamental da União Europeia. Colocar o povo no coração da mudança que temos que fazer é essencial. Combater a pobreza de 90 milhões de cidadãos europeus, ou seja, cerca de 20% da nossa população, é fundamental. São pobres ou são riscos de pobreza. E aqui poderão ler no ponto 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 1.8, todo o capítulo 4 e também no capítulo 5, vários apontamentos sobre esta matéria. Sobre a questão da paz neste momento e da guerra. Para nós é claro, não só de acordo com os nossos valores, mas também de acordo com os nossos princípios, que a procura da paz é fundamental. A nossa solidariedade com a Ucrânia, que foi invadida pela Rússia, mas também a nossa solidariedade com o povo palestiniano, que está subjugado ao governo israelita de Benjamin Netanyahu, é total. A solução para a Palestina deverão ser os acordos de Oslo. Mas, contudo, também nós próprios, a nossa defesa, a defesa europeia, também está em risco perante a ofensiva e perante a tentativa da Rússia. Por isso, o multilateralismo, as Nações Unidas, a Carta das Nações Unidas, os direitos humanos é a solução. A paz é a solução. E, por esse motivo, chamo a vossa atenção para o ponto 1.5, 1.6 e todo o capítulo 7. Muito obrigado pela atenção.
Okay, thank you very much, Carlos. And now, Lydia, you take the floor, please.
Thank you. I will speak in Croatian. Iz perspektive organizacija civilnog društva u središte budućnosti Europe stavljamo kvalitetu života. Ako želimo Uniju koja mjeri napredak izvan BDP-a, a smatramo da bismo trebali, tada zdravlje, skrb, mentalna dobrobit, čista voda, priroda, priuštivo stanovanje i pristupačna energija moraju postati temelj europskih politika. To znači ulaganje u prilagodbu klimatskim promjenama, rješenja utemeljena na prirodi, otporne prehrambene sustave i pristup vodi utemeljen na pravima uz osiguravanje da ranjiva kućanstva, mladi i starije generacije ne budu zapostavljeni. To također znači rješavanje svih oblika siromaštva, od energetskog u području održive mobilnosti, stanovanja i siromaštva zaposlenih, jer isključenost nije samo socijalni neuspjeh, nego i demokratski. No, kvalitetu života nije moguće očuvati ako se europski prostor za djelovanje civilnog društva nastavi sužavati. Organizacije civilnog društva, lokalne inicijative i neovisni mediji ključni su za zaštitu prava, odgovornosti i izgradnju povjerenja. Strategija EU-a za civilno društvo stoga se mora u potpunosti provesti uz snažnije praćenje, mehanizme i ranog upozoravanja i stabilnu potporu organizacijama na nacionalnoj i lokalnoj razini. Zaštita demokratskih vrijednosti također zahtijeva civilni dijalog pored socijalnog, snažnije participativne alate, medijsku pismenost, zaštitu od dezinformacija i napada na novinare, te uklanjanje rupa u zakonu u području političkog financiranja. U svim ovim područjima, od otpornosti vodnih sustava i ruralne kohezije do uključivanja mladih i rodne ravnopravnosti, potrebne su nam politike koje su usmjerene na ljude, teritorijalno pravedne i okolišno odgovorne. I na kraju, potreban nam je i novi višegodišnji financijski okvir koji odražava tu ambiciju, osiguravajući da nijedan prioritet ne bude podređen drugome i da sve regije jednako imaju koristi. Hvala.
Thank you very much, Lydia. And now we're going to take speakers from the floor. And I see Cynthia Del Rio, you have your button pressed. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Grazie, Seamus. I will speak in Italian. È vero che la risoluzione fa un riferimento alla pace, come ha detto Carlos, ma purtroppo lo fa solo nell'ultimo capitolo, parlando di rapporti internazionali e di commercio. È un messaggio debole che non riflette le aspettative della società civile. Come possiamo pensare di implementare un programma così ambizioso ed articolato in un contesto di tensioni, conflitti ed instabilità politica? Stiamo proponendo di ridefinire l'economia europea incentrata sulla difesa, il riarmo spacciato per sicurezza. La sicurezza si costruisce insieme, con relazioni fondate sul dialogo, istituzioni credibili, una diplomazia tenace e la cooperazione tra i popoli. Qual è il ruolo dell'Unione Europea in questo contesto? Quale diplomazia e azione politica è in grado di mettere in campo? E noi del Comitato cosa chiediamo alla Commissione? La costruzione della pace dovrebbe essere la priorità assoluta della nostra agenda per la Commissione, dovrebbe essere al primo posto, prerogativa di ogni proposta, e invece la releghiamo in fondo, un aspetto quasi marginale e secondario. Mi auguro che questo messaggio arrivi comunque alla Commissione con forza e determinazione.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Okay, I don't have any other speakers on the list, so I'll go back to the rapporteurs to take Cynthia's point or to add any other relevant issues you feel you should. So, in your hands.
Thank you. I fully agree that peace is critical, but it comes out of the strength of Europe. So we need to divide what is really what the strength consists of in terms of the EU, and that comes from the integrated single market. So once the economy is really strong at the global level from the European perspective, then we have means and tools to be a part of the international peace agreement. Second is, of course, security and coordination of the defense. We're not asking in the resolution, and I don't know any of the opinions in the House that we're asking for kind of integrated defense, army or military approach. We ask for the coordination, financing, building industrial capacity, so we are potentially ready to defend Europe. And out of this, the strength comes again. And the last part is, of course, about our international presence in terms of number of issues, conflicts such as Ukraine, where we showcase the presence, financing, and ability to also come up with agreement or proposal for the agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. Carlos?
Thank you. Permitam-me utilizar um segundo para agradecer aos co-relatores, ao Marcin e à Corina, que não está presente, mas trabalhar com eles foi um prazer. Foi duro, como é normal, os assuntos são importantes. Mas também agradecer ao secretariado, na pessoa da Maia e do Daniel, bem como a todos os grupos, secções, que contribuíram com as suas ideias, as suas críticas e também, em particular, o Grupo 2, que é o meu grupo. Só quero referir o seguinte: com certeza, nesta sala, a ideia central de todos nós e de fora desta sala é a defesa e a segurança. Termos autonomia estratégica na União Europeia. Num mundo em convulsões, onde o multilateralismo está em crise, temos que ter autonomia estratégica. Mas aquilo que jamais, na minha opinião, poderemos abandonar é a ideia. Para que termos uma economia social de mercado, temos que ter um modelo social europeu a funcionar. Não podemos ter as dificuldades, as desigualdades, as exclusões que hoje existem pela nossa sociedade. É isto que se pretendeu dizer na nossa resolução, pelo menos nas partes que há minutos referi. Não é uma questão de eliminar questões sociais para elevar outros, defesa e segurança. Tem que haver equilíbrio entre os dois fatores, porque se a população em geral, 450 milhões de habitantes, não sentem que é a democracia, que é o bem-estar, a justiça social que dá segurança, naturalmente ficam acessíveis às mensagens dos populistas de extrema-direita. Não pode ser. Temos que ter, na minha opinião, esta visão global, autonomia estratégica, mas bem-estar e justiça social. Obrigado.
Thank you very much, Carlos. And Lydia, you have the floor.
Zaista živimo u svijetu koji se brzo mijenja i donosi nove izazove i trebamo se pametno i zajednički pripremiti kako odgovoriti na te izazove i mislim da je tu suradnja sve tri grupe koje mi zastupamo ovdje vrlo važna, jer ako idemo odvojenim putovima i zastupamo samo neke svoje stavove, nećemo daleko stići. Znači suradnja, dogovori i pronalaženje puta koji nikog ne zapostavlja iza sebe je vrlo važno. Ono što je također važno je da gradimo odnose sa drugim državama koje slično razmišljaju kao mi, a što se tiče pitanja mira, mi iz Hrvatske zaista znamo što znači rat i što znači mir i u tom procesu važno je i biti spreman. Znači ne samo raditi i proizvoditi oružje, već i pripremiti ljude na to što ih sve čeka i kako odgovoriti. Tako da zaista ima puno faktora koje moramo uzeti u obzir i teško je sve pomiriti, ali to je naš zadatak da nađemo nekako put koji ipak nikog ne zapostavlja. Hvala.
Very much. Thank you very much, Lydia, and thanks to three of you for an excellent presentation. It's an important piece of work. So, there being no other discussion on this matter, I am now going to put the resolution to the debate to the floor. So, the vote is open. Okay, we're coming to a closure. I'm now going to declare the vote is closed, and the result will be, yes, 174, no 5, and abstention 6. The resolution is carried. Congratulations to the rapporteurs. So we're now just going to do a little bit of adjustment as we begin the next debate. I see Commissioner Roswall is on her way, so nice to see you again. And we will start in about a minute or two. Okay, folks, thank you very much. We're now coming to the debate, which is very important. Given the discussions we've had in terms of climate change, in terms of the reality of the world, which is the planet, from the EU Blue Deal and water resilience to global water action. And I am really pleased once again to welcome Commissioner Jessika Roswall, who is become a great friend of this committee and who is obviously responsible, as you know, for environment, water resilience and the competitive circular economy. We will also have and welcome very strongly Hildegard Bentele, Member of the European Parliament, very welcome as well. She is Vice Chairman of the Committee on Development, DEVE, and Chair of the MEP Water Group. That will be remote, I think, and I'm just reading that. Also, Pedro Arrojo-Agudo. UN Special Rapporteur on the human rights to safe drinking water and sanitation, also remotely, linked to the adoption, of course, of the opinion CCMI 254 on the EESC contribution of the UN Water Conference 2026 and the EU Blue Deal on water resilience strategy, global water action and CCMI 261 on the Blue Deal Accelerator, technology, skills, finance for water resilient future. So I'm really glad that we will have this debate today because, again, it is part of the reality of our lives, especially certain countries coming into the summer. We will have the same issues on water scarcity yet again. It's my honour to welcome all of the distinguished speakers, and in particular Commissioner Roswall once again to this plenary. A few years now, our committee has been at the forefront of the debate on water, launching the call for an EU Blue Deal, which ultimately contributed to having the first ever Commissioner in charge of water resilience and dedicated European water resilience strategy. Our work has not stopped ever since, and we have delivered multiple opinions to develop the cross-cutting and comprehensive water policy in the Union. This is why we call for a water test to guide all EU legislation and urge the EU to adopt water as a strategic priority for its next multi-annual financial framework. Furthermore, our EU Blue Deal places water at the same level with decarbonisation policies. It understands the potential of water in fostering competitiveness and the digital transition, and it respects the fundamental value of the right to water and calls on the EU to lead with an ambitious water policy which can resonate globally. This last point in particular is relevant this year when in December global leaders, civil society around the world and stakeholders will join the United Nations Water Conference. Understanding the centrality of these discussions, we as a committee decided to give voice to organised European civil society, to share our views with EU institutions ahead of this global conference and to put forward our own recommendations to support the outcome of this crucial gathering. The two opinions today we are adopting illustrate our resolve to continue to shape water discussions in Europe through the acceleration of water transformation and preparedness for the challenges we face from within, notably by focusing on the key drivers of technology, skills and finance. Globally, by making sure that Europe can become a world leader in water action through ambitious actions, policies, dedicated partnerships and a strong voice for change, leaving, of course, nobody behind. And we all know, I was in Cyprus a good few times in the last few years, and we know the issues which even that country and many other countries face. It is a worldwide problem, it is a planetary problem, and this is why we are so pleased that Commissioner Roswall has that great challenge, I think, and opportunity as well. So I am now going to start with the debate, and I am going to give the floor to Commissioner Roswall for 10 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Seamus, and thank you for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. You know, last week I was in your home country again, discussing water, nature restoration, and circular economy, and a lot of other things. And I learned that Seamus Heaney, one of Ireland's greatest poets, described that water is the origin of all things. Actually, this is a powerful idea that I have come across again and again wherever I go over the past 2 years. It was the core principle of ancient Greek philosophy, and it is a part of the founding myth of some of the oldest civilizations all over the world. And of course, closer to home in the present days, I'm trying to get going electronic. Not it doesn't work. So now it started over. Sorry. Closer to home, I'm trying to be digital. No less papers. Anyway, it's function time to time. Now I'm here again. No, anyway, the farmers and around Europe starts every day looking, maybe not on Ireland, but other places in the Europe is looking in the sky, hoping for rain. For them, water is where their livelihood begins, and it is a great enabler for fishers, for foresters, industries, and more. Water is the difference between success and failure. For our ecosystems, of course, for our biodiversity, it is the difference between life and death. It grows our crops, powers our businesses, and delivers our trade, feeds our environment, and nourishes our societies. So it is not a stretch to say that water is, as the poet said, the foundation of our modern world. On the other hand, its absence and its scarcity fuels division and conflicts. We know that. The lessons here, I would say, is crystal clear. We urgently need to do more to protect and to restore our waters. So I'm really delighted to be here and to take part of this debate. And congratulations to these two important opinions. Let me also start by thanking the European Economic and Social Committee for its work to keep a spotlight on water resilience. As also already was mentioned, 2 years after your declaration for the EU Blue Deal, water resilience became part of one commissioner's title. And the core part of my portfolio has been for the first time then. The EU Water Resilience Strategy was adopted last year, and it brought a new perspective. Today, we do see water not only as an environmental policy, but as a vital ingredient for competitiveness, preparedness, industrial resilience, food and energy security, climate adaptation, and of overall security. The Water Resilience Strategy also came with a very clear understanding. In Europe, it will take a massive, substantial, cross-sectoral effort to solve our water challenges. And this matches the committee's argument that water should become a cross-cutting strategic priority across EU policies. We cannot allow today's geopolitical challenges to distract us from our internal and external goals, from achieving water resilience by 2050, or from our 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Instead, we really need to work harder and also smarter, and we need to collaborate better. And this committee's contributions are the key, of course, of that effort. And I see important similarities in your draft opinions and in the Commission's work, including circular water management, digitalization, investments in resilience, information cooperation, and the vital work on research, innovation, and upskilling of our world-leading water sector. We also appreciate your call for EU leadership to address the triple planetary crisis. It is an important reminder how interconnected our world is and how the greatest challenges are linked. It means that our solutions also must be more connected and coherent, feeding and also reinforcing each other. I soon look forward also to hearing more about your priorities and how we can deliver concrete benefits together. But just first, let me share some of the steps that we are taking to deliver water security both home and abroad. As also was mentioned later this year, the UN Water Conference offers an opportunity to deepen global collaboration. EU member states are co-sharing in 4 out of 6 of the conference initiative dialogues. I think this is a good opportunity that we can lead by example and contribute to concrete and practical outcomes. We are working closely with the co-chairs and the co-hosts to define flagship initiatives under each interactive dialogue. We are also actively campaigning for wider accession to Water Convention, and we are advocating for regular intergovernmental process on water within the UN, structured around regular water conferences. The overall goal here is simple. We are working with partners to establish the type of global water architecture that can truly address global water challenges. One with a sharp focus on delivery and accountability. But ambition at the global level must be matched also with deliveries within the EU. And that starts with investments, and in line with your call for increased funding for water resilience, we are scaling up financing. 40 billion euros are already available under the current EU funding instrument. More resources have been mobilized through the cohesion policy. Our partnership with the European Investment Bank is helping us to unlock 15 billion euros in water-related investments. And as we speak, negotiations are ongoing to ensure water resilience that it is properly covered in the upcoming MFF. Next comes digitalization, and with it more effective and efficient action. In many ways, our upcoming digital action plan for the water sector echoes the committee's call for a European water data space. It will help national systems connect and speak to each other, also in a more coherent way. And it will support a more harmonized evidence-based approach to lower water management. So you can imagine maybe the potential for pollution monitoring or leak reduction, for just some examples. The public consultation for this is open until the 24th of June. We encourage you all to engage and share your expertise. However, for digitalization to work, we need the right workforce in the right place and at the right time. That is why also upskilling is at the core of the strategy and also among the committee's priorities. And I am also excited to announce that the European Water Academy will be launched in the EESC's Social Committee's premises on the 21st of September. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just some of the steps we are taking to protect and restore one of the most precious resources that we have. There are more underway and still more to come in the month ahead to generate private investment and also boost water efficiently, to implement nature-based solutions and build the circular economy, and so much more. And I can assure you that each and every effort is guided by commitment of collaboration. Civil society, local authorities, industries, farmers, social partners, youth organizations, scientific communities, we all have a vital role to play. All have the crucial perspective and also crucial insights, and we are listening to them all. I really appreciate the committee's work to bring organized civil society in the European contribution to the UN Water Conference, and we are committed to working closely with the committee, but also with the Committee of the Regions, member states, and global partners in our preparation. Together, we can protect our water so that it can protect us and our way of life. So that it continues to be the origin and the enabler of all things instead of the end. So together we can build a resilient, prosperous and sustainable future for all. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the debate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. That is a good start to the debate. Now I'm going to go to, I think, Pedro Arrojo-Agudo next, who is coming in remotely, so I'm hoping that connection is working.
Merci.
Merci.
Je pense que vous m'écoutez, vous voyez. Okay. Puisque l'événement se tient à Bruxelles, permettez-moi de m'exprimer en français. Excellence, chers amis, je tiens tout d'abord à vous remercier sincèrement de m'avoir invité à vous présenter mes idées et mes propositions pour la dernière fois, d'ailleurs, en tant que rapporteur, car mon mandat s'achève en novembre prochain, bientôt. Tout d'abord, je dois dire que je partage la plupart des recommandations. L'accès à l'eau potable et à l'assainissement comme un droit humain qui doit être garanti en priorité, en accordant une attention particulière aux plus démunis. L'eau gérée comme un bien public doté d'une valeur sociale, environnementale et économique et pas comme une marchandise, conformément à la directive cadre sur l'eau et au traité de l'Union européenne. ce qui demande une gouvernance démocratique qui garantisse transparence et participation. L'application rigoureuse du principe pollueur-payeur ainsi que du principe de précaution afin de prévenir la pollution à la source. La diplomatie bleue, comme un pilier de la politique européenne, reconnaissant le lien vital entre l'eau, la paix, la démocratie et la sécurité. Et puis l'exhortation à condamner comme crime de guerre les attaques contre les infrastructures hydrauliques essentielles à la survie des populations civiles. Cependant, chers amis, Excellences, je souhaite apporter quelques précisions à certaines recommandations. Concernant la dernière que j'ai fait, le dernier point, lorsqu'un État utilise l'eau comme arme de guerre pour mettre en œuvre des stratégies que les Nations Unies ont déjà qualifiées de nettoyage ethnique et de génocide, un simple appel à les condamner est insuffisant. On a besoin de résolutions efficaces, qui sont nécessaires. Je regrette un peu l'absence d'une recommandation explicite visant à promouvoir une approche de la gouvernance de l'eau et des écosystèmes aquatiques fondée sur les droits humains. C'est un concept important que l'ONU demande en matière d'eau. Au-delà de promouvoir la participation des stakeholders, à mon avis, il est impératif de remédier la manque de participation des plus démunis et marginalisés, souvent criminalisés pour revendiquer leurs droits humains comme right holders, souvent avec les femmes en première ligne, et malgré qu'ils soient les alliés les plus investis dans la réalisation de l'ODD 6. Un autre point, c'est la transition énergétique. Bien sûr, elle s'oriente, la transition, elle oriente les stratégies d'atténuation sur la question énergétique. Mais les stratégies d'adaptation doivent être guidées par la transition hydrique, car les principaux risques proviennent d'événements extrêmes liés à l'eau. Donc, je tiens à vous proposer de développer le concept de transition hydrique. Et puis, le lien eau-énergie est essentiel, absolument essentiel. Et pourtant, l'impact dévastateur du développement incontrôlé et opaque des mégacentres de données est passé sous silence. Écoutez, en Irlande, par exemple, tous les investissements dans l'énergie éolienne et solaire ont été monopolisés par les centres de données au lieu de contribuer à la transition énergétique. En plus, la priorité accordée sous des contrats opaques, absolument opaques, à l'utilisation des ressources en eau importantes, en période de sécheresse, met en péril des usages essentiels, comme c'est déjà le cas, c'est très clair, au Mexique par exemple. En tout cas, dans le contexte de cet excellent ensemble de recommandations que se présente ici et que je partage et je soutiens, j'ai une préoccupation et un point de désaccord quant aux stratégies de financement proposées pour réaliser les investissements nécessaires dans l'eau et l'assainissement. Je pense que l'approche présentée ouvre la voie à une financiarisation des services d'eau et d'assainissement qui, à mon avis, est très dangereux. J'espère pouvoir présenter mes propositions, en tout cas à ce sujet, au cours des 3 minutes finales dont je disposerai plus tard. Et finalement, concernant la conférence sur l'eau, l'ONU doit relever le défi de son institutionnalisation en la convoquant régulièrement sous son égide. La faiblesse institutionnelle de l'ONU dans ce domaine a permis aux grandes entreprises privées d'occuper son espace pendant 50 ans. Imaginons pour un instant si l'OMS n'existait pas et que le lobby pharmaceutique convoquait des forums réguliers pour discuter les risques sanitaires et les pandémies potentielles. En cette période d'incertitude, comme vous avez dit, d'attaque contre le multilatéralisme, l'Europe doit prendre l'initiative à l'Assemblée générale de l'ONU pour promouvoir l'institutionnalisation de la conférence en veillant à qu'elle soit ouverte à une large participation sociale, notamment des right holders, et en adoptant une approche fondée sur les droits humains. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Now, I'm told we have some difficulty trying to get remotely connected to Hildegard Bentele, but we will keep trying, and I hope she will be able to contribute. But meanwhile, if it's okay with the rapporteurs, we will hear your presentations now. So I think, Paul, you begin it, and I'll leave it to the rest of them come in as you have planned. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President, Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen. Water is the most important raw material in this world. And that was the reason why the Economic and Social Committee started to put water, to give water an upgrade in the political debate. And we started with some reports on water. And first of all, Commissioner, we congratulate you because we asked for a commissioner for water. So it was the Economic and Social Committee who within the Commission also got the chance to install a commissioner for water. We also asked for EIT water for the European Institute of Technology, the Water KIC, the Water Knowledge Innovation Community. We got it. And we got now in the Joint Research Center the water education. So you see the Economic and Social Committee is driving European politics like the European Commission. So we are very proud that we also published our reports in a book where everybody can read it in English and in German, what our work and the content for water is about. And now we also put this book into a movie, into a documentary movie, a full cinema movie on 1 hour and 20 minutes, where science, industry, and 2 NGOs showed how important science communication is. And we did this with the impact that maybe we can present it at the United Nations conference in Abu Dhabi. I've spoken with my minister in Austria for water, and he agrees that maybe we can present it at this conference as a side event. So we are working with Economic and Social Committee and with CCMI on the presentation of this movie. And I think it's clear that the shift from a linear water using, you use it and it's going back, to a circular system, and to see how important it is to wastewater harvesting and sewage collection and using all the different stages is quite important for all of us. So wastewater mining will be a key activity in the future. And we all know that water is a public good. We have heard it now, and I think that was the right approach, because we also have sun and wind. The nature helps us, and therefore we are happy that we also get a lot of nature-based solutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Paul. I've learned over the years your passion and dedication to this subject, so it's no surprise to see it again this morning. I would like to now introduce you to Hervé Janin for 2 minutes, co-rapporteur.
Thank you, President. We want to, in our report, to integrating water across all policies, not only one topic, but in every topic that we discuss, to consider water in each topic. We consider too, as mentioned before, that attack on water infrastructure will be war crimes and written as war crimes. Another point is massive investment. We have to make massive investment. We have a lack of 800 billion euros per year lack of investment all over the world. 800 billion. So we have a huge gap, and each year it increases. So that's the reason why we say that we need not only for public money, but for private investment too. And we are not promoting using private to manage water and distribute water, but we need for investment like this. We ask for strengthening cross-border cooperation, because we see that when there is discussion between different countries, there is less risk to have war between countries when they speak together about water resources. And last point was digitalization and data for water resilience. Digital twin, satellite monitoring and AI helping in decision making. But as Pedro Arrojo mentioned just before, AI is a huge water and electricity consumer. So we have to take care to not switch from helping to be improving the cost and on ecological point. Thank you, President.
Thank you very much, Harold. And we now go to the other opinion, which is linked, of course, CCMI 261. So I'm giving the floor to Magdalena Rakowska. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Commissioner, President. Europe is entering a new era in which water can no longer be taken for granted. Our opinion starts from a simple but fundamental principle. Water must be recognized as a strategic resource, a precious resource, on par with energy. Without secure and resilient water systems, there can be no competitive industry, no successful green transition, and no resilience for Europe. The European Water Resilience Strategy and the Blue Deal provide an important direction. Our opinion proposes the next step, a Blue Deal Accelerator to turn ambition into action. We call for a cross-sectoral framework that brings together technology, skills and finance as key drivers of a water resilient future. First, water resilience must be seen as a strategic standalone priority across all EU policies and embedded further across EU industrial policy, including the Circular Economy Act, the Industrial Accelerator Act and other industrial policy instruments. We propose that water considerations become an integral part of legislation, permitting investment and public support through a dedicated water test. Water efficiency should become standard element of economic decision-making. Second, we call for a new approach to investment. We propose a coherent EU water financing framework, placing water as a strategic priority in the next MFF, supported by a Blue Transition Fund and water conditionalities for funding. The Water Investment Accelerator is very important and should strengthen project pipelines and mobilize both public and private capital. Every euro invested in water delivers strong economic returns, growth and also jobs, of course. Third, we need better data and stronger implementation capacity. We propose a creation of a European water data space as a single source of truth for water-related information. At the same time, we must, of course, invest in people. The European Water Academy can help equip workers, businesses and public authorities with the skills needed for the water transition. So this opinion is about ensuring that Europe has technology, skills and finance needed to build a water-smart society and economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Magdalena. And your co-rapporteur, Leah Apulo. Leah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, President. Good morning, Commissioner. The rapporteur has presented the main elements of the EU Blue Deal Accelerator. I would like to focus on one aspect that is sometimes overlooked. Water and healthy water ecosystems are fundamental to Europe's economy, industrial production and social stability. Water is life and it's also a human right, as we have already mentioned. When wetlands, including rivers, lakes, peatlands, and groundwater systems are degraded, polluted, and depleted, the consequences are felt far beyond the environment. Industries face higher costs, supply chain become more fragile, energy production is affected, farmers struggles, and community become more exposed to floods and droughts. This is why the concept of water bankruptcy deserves more attention. UNEP has warned that we are consuming and degrading water resources faster than they can recover. In simple terms, we are losing our ability to keep water in the landscape. Commissioner Roswall's examples from the Green Week opening illustrate this very well. Along the Rhine, restoring wetlands has reduced floods risks while supporting economic activity. In New York, restoring wetlands proved cheaper than building a filtration plant. So nature was already providing the service. If we want to become more water resilient, we need to retain more water where it falls. Wetlands, floodplains, healthy soils act as natural sponges. They store water in wet periods and release it during dry period. This is good for people, good for agriculture, and good for businesses. That's why the EU Blue Deal Accelerator calls for a better mix of grey infrastructure and nature-based solutions. It is also why we propose a Blue Transition Fund and support the Water Resilience Investment Accelerator so that more projects can move from plans to implementation, including projects that restore wetlands and other natural water systems. The opinion supports the European Water Resilience Strategy and contributes to wider EU priorities such as the Clean Industrial Deal, the Industrial Accelerator Act, the Circular Economy Act, and the Union of Skills. But we should not forget that all of this depends on secure water resource. That's also why the Water Framework Directive remains so important. The same thinking should guide Global Gateway. Partnership on wetlands, water resilience, innovation and skills can help address shared challenges while strengthening Europe's role in the global water agenda. So I therefore invite colleagues to support the EU Blue Deal Accelerator opinion today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Leah. Thank you very much. I now think we will have a statement from MEP Hildegard Bentele, if you are connected, just checking.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please continue.
Perfect, yeah. Dear Commissioner Roswall, dear Mr. Boland, dear Mr. Arrojo-Agudo, my sincere greetings from Strasbourg, as you can see from a very busy plenary session. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak now to you. Thank you very much for this kind invitation. And I would like to say first that it's very encouraging to see how strong your engagement on this issue is. And I think your work on water is both timely and essential. Since the UN Water Conference is approaching, this discussion cannot be more relevant. And as you rightly emphasized, many of you, water must be treated as a central cross-cutting issue across all public policies. Water also lays at the heart of sustainable development, which I'm in charge for also in the European Parliament as the Vice President of the Development Committee. It supports human health, food security, energy production, ecosystems, and economic growth. Yet water resources around the world are under increasing pressure. Climate change, population growth, urbanization, and pollution are placing growing strain on rivers, aquifers, and coastal systems. The human and economic costs are significant. Around 4 billion people experience severe water scarcity for at least 1 month per year, and droughts alone cost the global economy more than $300 billion annually. In many regions, water insecurity is becoming a major constraint on economic development and stability. Access to safe drinking water and sanitation remains uneven, while droughts, floods, and water-related disasters are increasing in frequency and intensity. Against this background, achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 6 becomes both more urgent and more challenging. This is why water must be seen not only as an environmental concern, but as a central pillar of development policy, climate resilience, and long-term economic prosperity. We know what needs to be done, but we are not moving at the required pace. To achieve universal access to safe water and sanitation, the world faces an annual financing gap over $130 billion. More broadly, up to $7 trillion will be needed for water infrastructure by 2030. Financing, innovation and capacity building are a central theme of the conference, as closing the financing gap requires a fundamental shift in how we approach water. Public funding remains essential, but it will not be sufficient, and less than 2% of water financing currently comes from the private sector. We need to mobilize private capital more effectively through better project preparation, more predictable frameworks, and stronger risk-sharing mechanisms. Blended finance approaches must become the norm, not the exception, if we want to build a robust pipeline of bankable water projects. Given the scale of the financing gap and the very limited role of private investment today, the European Parliament has called for a stronger blue dimension within the Global Gateway Initiative. The Global Gateway Initiative can provide an important framework for addressing these water-related challenges. Launched in 2021, Global Gateway aims to strengthen sustainable and trusted connections between Europe and partner countries through investments in infrastructure, energy, transport, digital connectivity, health, education, and research. By mobilizing public and private finance, the initiative seeks to support sustainable growth while advancing the objectives of the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. Water has a critical role to play in this broader vision, even though it is not yet one of the pillars of the strategy. Strengthening the blue dimension of Global Gateway means integrating water more systematically across sectors. It means supporting reliable drinking water and sanitation systems that improve public health and human dignity. It means strengthening wastewater treatment and pollution control to protect ecosystems and livelihoods. It means improving irrigation efficiency to support climate-resilient agriculture. And it means protecting watersheds, wetlands, and coastal ecosystems that provide natural resilience against floods and droughts. Experience shows that projects are most successful when they respond to the real priorities of our partner countries and when local communities, authorities, and civil societies are involved from the outset. But financing is not enough. Effective water management depends on governance. Strong institutions, transparency, and inclusive decision-making are essential. Projects are most successful when they reflect the priorities of partner countries and involve local communities and stakeholders from the outset. Innovation also plays a key role. Technologies for water monitoring, smart irrigation, wastewater reuse, and nature-based solutions already exist. The challenge is to scale them and make them accessible. Ultimately, this is about using resources more strategically and building effective partnerships. Public funding alone will not be sufficient. Mobilizing private investment alongside development finance will be essential to closing the gap. And this exactly is the main goal of Global Gateway. If we get this right, water can be a driver of resilience and sustainable development. If we do not, it will increasingly become a constraint, and both. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hildegard. Vice President of the Committee on Development, so I appreciate you managing to connect. Thank you very much. We now open the debate to the floor, and we're coming to the various speakers. So I see number one on my list is Alan Coer, President of CCMI. You're sitting at 96. The floor is yours.
Madame la Commissaire, I will speak in French. Madame la Commissaire, Monsieur le Président, cher Hilde et cher Pedro, Madame la Commissaire, vous avez raison d'essayer de vous passer du papier, puisque c'est une industrie qui est fortement consommatrice d'eau, et d'utiliser le numérique, qui est aussi fortement consommatrice d'eau. Ce n'est pas une question de choix, ça veut simplement dire que nous ne pouvons pas nous passer de l'eau aujourd'hui. Félicitations aux rapporteurs et co-rapporteurs, vous avez fait un excellent travail. Avec notre contribution à la conférence des Nations Unies sur l'eau, nous réaffirmons le principe fondamental sur lequel la société civile doit être au cœur de la quête de l'Europe pour mener l'action mondiale sur l'eau. En période de troubles géopolitiques et de menaces contre le multilatéralisme, la communauté internationale doit réaffirmer son unité pour faire face à la crise de l'eau. Cela signifie de reconnaître la nécessité d'un changement de paradigme mondial, accélérer la transition vers une société économe en eau, renforcer la mise en œuvre des objectifs du développement durable, condamner les attaques contre les infrastructures hydrauliques essentielles et les reconnaître comme un crime de guerre. Je soutiens entièrement Pedro sur ce sujet. Établir les objectifs mondiaux pour améliorer l'efficacité de l'eau et intégrer des solutions basées sur la nature à travers les secteurs. Notre Blue Deal Accelerator consiste à passer de la stratégie à la mise en œuvre. Cela signifie intégrer l'eau dans toutes les politiques de l'Union européenne par un test d'eau qui conditionne la législation, les investissements et les permis. Nous devons définir les fondamentaux. Un, sur la finance. Les prochains fonds de financement doivent considérer la résilience de l'eau comme une priorité stratégique. Technologique, nous devons accélérer des solutions intelligentes en matière d'eau et numérique pour favoriser l'efficacité, la réutilisation et la résilience. Et enfin, les compétences. Sans personnes et capacités, la transition ne se produira tout simplement pas. Le message est donc simple, mettre en place l'eau comme élément clé des politiques et la financer en conséquence pour garantir la résilience de toute la société en Europe et à l'échelle internationale.
Merci, Alain. Thank you. And now I go to Milena Angelova, sitting at 42. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, President. Dear Madam Commissioner, thank you for your constant commitment to water resilience. Much appreciated. I have two elements today for you to kindly consider. First of all, if there is something clear after the 4th Dushanbe Water Action Decade Conference held last month, it is that the water community is not yet ready for the multilateral process. Conferences alone don't change the world. If the preparatory work and outcomes are not anchored at consistent and continuous binding agreements, commitments cannot be held accountable, transparent and traceable. That's why in our new exploratory opinion, kindly asked by you, for the avenues for restoring the global hydrological cycle, we plan asking for a coordinated response at global level that shall address the possible outcome of the disruption of the global hydrological cycle. As you have proven quite successful in rallying European institutions and member states to deliver in real terms to water resilience, I count on you to make sure that the European Commission engages in effective blue diplomacy in order to provide for sustainable global water architecture, as you mentioned, and to place water cycle at the top priority of it. Second, we live in an era of a global bankruptcy where the global hydrological cycle is changing, driven by accelerating climate change and unsustainable water use. The full scale of disruption we cannot assess because we don't have traceable, predictable and reliable data. Therefore, I suggest that under your leadership, Europe launches flagship initiative to fill these data gaps and build partnerships and frameworks to that effect, because reliable data are vital for understanding the gravity of the situation we face and design effective evidence-based response policies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Milena. Thank you. And to Carole Desiano, sitting at 121, the floor is yours.
Oui, je vais m'exprimer en français. Merci, Madame la Commissaire. Donc, on est tous d'accord, l'eau n'est pas une marchandise, c'est un bien public essentiel à la vie, à la production industrielle, à l'agriculture et à la santé. En Europe, sa rareté et aussi parfois sa mauvaise gestion menacent notre autonomie stratégique, nos emplois et notre résilience face aux crises climatiques. Il est donc urgent d'accélérer les politiques européennes et celles des États membres pour garantir l'accès à l'eau pour tous, aujourd'hui et surtout demain. C'est tout l'objet de cet accélérateur Blue Deal. L'eau est un bien public, sa gestion impose des règles de gouvernance contraignantes contre le gaspillage et la pollution. Et cela nécessite aussi des investissements massifs dans des infrastructures durables. Dans le cadre d'une transition juste, et parce que sans eau, il n'y a pas d'industrie, pas d'agriculture, pas d'énergie et donc pas d'emploi durable, les travailleurs sont des acteurs clés pour accompagner les politiques sur l'eau et ont besoin de formation pour les métiers de demain. L'eau est un droit, un patrimoine commun et la clé de notre avenir industriel, agricole et social. Le Blue Deal Accelerator doit être le levier de notre résilience collective pour le bien-être des citoyens, des travailleurs et pour l'avenir de l'Europe. Et je voulais juste, pour répondre à Monsieur Pedro Arrojo-Agudo qui avait des préoccupations sur les centres de données et leurs besoins en eau, rappeler que le CESE a déjà travaillé sur le sujet et a exprimé des recommandations dans le cadre d'un avis de la CCMI. Merci à tous.
Merci, Carol. Thank you. And I now go to seat 18, Aina Agafonova. The floor is yours.
Thank you, President, Commissioner, Special Rapporteur, Honourable Member, colleagues. I congratulate all the rapporteurs on these two excellent opinions. As a member of the study group on the Blue Deal Accelerator, I am proud of our opinion, and especially that it places nature-based solutions, wetlands among them, alongside technology, skills and finance. I would like to build on that in a constructive spirit. Wetlands are the natural sponges that store and purify our water. According to the last global wetland outlook of the Ramsar Convention, they are worth almost $40 trillion a year, and every dollar invested in restoring them returns $5 to $35 in benefits. The opportunity now is to match our shared ambition with real investment. So I warmly encourage the Blue Deal Accelerator to help make wetland restoration easier to finance, turning a shared priority into projects on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ina. Well done. I now go to Joseph Buxo-Rocamaro, sitting in 276. The floor is yours.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Commissioner. Voy a hablar en español en el Pleno. Los headphones. Coincido en gran medida en lo que ha planteado la Comisión y ha planteado la Comisaria y muy especialmente con lo que ha planteado la Vicepresidenta de la Comisión del Parlamento, Madame Bentele. ¿Por qué? Porque realmente enfocamos, yo creo que por primera vez con gran nivel en la Unión Europea, un problema real, agua y cambio climático. Comisaria, ha dicho, se lo respeto, que los agricultores, la industria, los ciudadanos están mirando al cielo esperando la lluvia, pero tenemos que hacer más. Desgraciadamente, esta semana, como el mes anterior, en mayo, hemos alcanzado temperaturas superiores a los 40 grados en los países del sur. Ayer mismo estaba en Madrid, estábamos en esa barrera. El mes de mayo fue anormalmente alto y nos espera un verano muy difícil. La desertificación avanza y ante este reto climático, la presidencia chipriota planteó un dictamen al que hicimos desde el comité, el mes pasado lo aprobamos, sobre resiliencia y adaptación. Eso quiere decir, y usted lo ha anunciado, preparación, prevención, inversión y gestión. La agricultura, la industria, los consumos urbanos deben ser socios en esa transición. No podemos hacer una política hidráulica basada en la demanda, hay que basarla en todo el sistema. Por tanto, la gobernanza, la unidad de cuencas y la participación en esas decisiones va a ser fundamental. La financiación adecuada, por supuesto, y sobre todo, usted también lo ha dicho, Comisaria, trabajar no con ideologías o prejuicios. Hay que trabajar con datos y hay que utilizar la digitalización para dar respuesta a esos retos y a esos compromisos. Europa puede y debe hacerlo. Gracias, Comisaria.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you very much. And I now go to, sitting at 203, Florian Marin. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Water is no longer just an environmental issue. It never truly was. Water is power. Water is leverage. Water is the hidden ingredient in every equation that matters. Food security, energy production, industrial competitiveness, social stability, but democracy itself. The industries we are counting on to keep Europe strong, clean energy, digital technology, modern manufacturing, all of them need water. More water than we currently have. More water than we are currently protecting. Water scarcity is not a local strategy, but rather a geopolitical earthquake in slow motion. And when water becomes scarce, the burden does not fall equally. It never does. Because water is not a sectorial issue or an environmental footnote. is the silent foundation beneath everything we claim for: justice, dignity, solidarity, and human rights. This is why we must commit, not in word, but in policy, in law, in investment, in action, to water for people, water for prosperity, water for planet, and water for peace. We are searching for water on other planets, but we are not capable of protecting the water which we have on planet Earth. We are not the victim of a water crisis. We are the author of one. And that means that we have the power, the full undeniable power, to write a different ending, a sustainable one. The cost of inaction is already being paid by the poorest, by the youngest, and by the most vulnerable. We owe them more than speeches. We owe them more than promises. We owe them water. Thank you so much, dear colleagues.
Thank you, Florian. And now to Stoyan Chukunov, 339, President of NAT. Stoyan, the floor is yours.
It never works from the first time. Thank you very much, President. Thank you very much, Commissioner, for being here with us. A lot was said, but water actually is life. And every day in our fields and rural communities, we see how the water crisis is deeply interlinked to the triple planetary crisis. Agriculture sits in the middle of this challenge. No water, no photosynthesis, no food. Shall we go? But farmers are not only victims, they are part of the solution. They must be supported in leading the transition toward a sustainable and resilient agri-food system with sustainable water management. According to FAO, 70% of the fresh water is used by the agriculture. Yeah, we have to feed the world. 2 years ago, the European Investment Bank approved a strategic roadmap with 8 priorities. Last week, the EIB published the interim report on the same roadmap. Agriculture did not drop from the priorities, but its place shifted from social cohesion to strategic autonomy. Repositioning is not only rhetoric, it changes who gets what. Yes, water is life. That's why nature-based solutions and circular approach must be part of the equation. Those investments pay back across generations. Dear Commissioner, let us not lose sight on the broader compass. In 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Development Goals, this agenda already connects all the dots, from clear water to responsible consumption and production, to food security and climate action. Looking forward to continue this conversation at the upcoming United Nations High-Level Political Forum in New York next week.
Thank you, Stoyan. Thank you very much. And I now go to Walter Robbins, sitting at 288. The floor is yours.
Thank you, President. I would like to call for a coherent policy with regard to damage due to a lack of water or an excess of water. Natural disasters such as floods and droughts endanger people and bring about massive property losses to homes and their contents, crops and infrastructure. The risk extends to business continuity, real estate values, mortgage portfolios and the public finances of regions that cannot cope with disasters but by borrowing and relying on taxpayers. This calls for more efforts, from prevention and preparation to restoration and compensation. Some countries have set up schemes to absorb those costs, and several EU programs promise help in kind or financially. Still, the protection levels vary greatly, and the Commission should work on the joint proposals of the Insurance Supervision Authority, EIOPA, and the European Central Bank. Beyond the scattering of existing tools, a responsible approach would support better risk management and better outcomes for exposed citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. And now the final speaker is Dimitru Fornia, sitting at 135. The floor is yours, Dimitru.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It's an important theme. Yesterday, Mr. Yahir said that we should not be so pessimistic on critical raw materials, a theme where Madame Bentele has worked a lot in the Parliament and Mr. Rubik. But today we can be a little bit optimistic because we are living on a blue planet. On this blue planet, 71% of the surface is covered by water. Afterwards, of course, we have the problems because only 2% of this surface have the potential to be drinkable. And with all this, only 0.012% it's drinkable immediately and directly. And this is our problem. On this percent are fighting 8 billion people on the planet and their corporations and their governments. So what has been said by Mr. Arrojo is very important, and by Ms. Bentele, very important role of the European Parliament and of the United Nations to publicly regulate the behavior around the water. Otherwise, can be an instrument of control, and this is what we don't want as citizens. Thank you very much.
Dimitru. Thank you very much for that. So I will now go back to the rapporteurs for a response, and I think it's Paul, you will start this response. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much for the remarks. We all know that up till now the legal base for water was environment, and I think we achieved more than 14 directives, and maybe we can also make it in simple and national language that people can understand how important the issue of water is. But I think the next step is to see internal market of water. Water is not only a question of quality, it's also a question of quantity. So we should look how to manage, how to get a good management of water, and of course private-public partnership could play a key role. We have spoken about relations, global relations. I also started a debate in the WTO, the World Trade Organization, to see what water could be in the peace agenda, in the right direction. We also have spoken with the World Meteorological Organization. They are very good in data and predicting global efficiency targets. I think that's quite important for all of us. And therefore, I think the Global Gateway can play a key role on this conference in Abu Dhabi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. And Hervé, Janen, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Sorry for my French native colleagues. I will continue to speak in English today. Water basin should be, for me, the central point for everything. It can be in a country or cover several countries, but this is the best approach to avoid conflicts and to be sure that all population, industries and farming will share the same resources in cooperation. And finally, I want to say that I'm so proud to present my first worldwide OIO where Europe will help all other countries to find solutions on water scarcity and floods, and encourage all of you, because we are all concerned about water, to vote for this OIO, and thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Hervé. Thank you very much. I now go to my other colleague rapporteurs. Magdalena, you're taking the floor first.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, you said that we need a cross-sectoral effort to solve the challenges, that we need cooperation. But of course, I think we also need coordination, and thank you for doing the job, but we need also coordination in countries. So this is crucial. Of course, the financial strategy for water is also essential. But what I heard several times in many discussions, it's not the issue that we lack finance, it's the issue of attracting finance to water. and build an economic case around water. But I think that the basis of all of our discussions is data, because you have to know what and how you want to manage, and you need to understand the risks to manage them, but also to build economic model for financing the water. And wetlands, for instance, can be and shall be also seen as a bankable assets in this equation. And you need people to understand the data, understand what to do, and do the job together. And drinkable water is very scarce, it was mentioned, so it means that we need to increase the amounts of reclaimed water that we use and of circular solutions for water. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Magdalena. And yes, Leah, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. Very briefly, I think the EU Green Week said all. The theme was investing in nature-based solutions. Wetlands are nature-based solutions, so we really need to invest in keeping water where it falls and in keeping water ecosystems such as wetlands alive. So my last message, I think it's this one, trying to invest as much as possible in water, but also water ecosystems that sustain water and provide water. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Leah, and thank you for the work you've done as well. We are now going to take replies, starting with Arrojo-Agudo. If you're connected, Mr. Agudo, are you there?
Yes.
Please, response.
Voilà, pour être clair, je ne suis pas contre les centres de données. Je demande transparence et réglementation. Deuxièmement, nous devons faire attention aux aquifères et pas seulement sur les zones humides. Les aquifères sont les poumons aquatiques de la nature. Et puis attention à ne pas mythifier l'efficacité. Elle est très importante, mais la promouvoir n'est pas suffisant. Souvent, l'efficacité encourage l'intensification des activités et les demandes et réduit finalement la résilience. Nous sommes confrontés, ne l'oublions pas, à un défi de gouvernance, comme a souligné Madame Hildegard. En tout cas, je voudrais expliquer mon souci sur la façon dont le défi financier est abordé. Dès le départ, les investissements exorbitants sont proposés. Une fois encore, je suis professeur d'économie, sans aucune justification ni explication sur les critères et la méthodologie utilisés. Nous savons tous comment calculer des coûts exorbitants ou par contre élaborer des stratégies qui optimisent le rapport coût-efficacité. Bon. Sur la base de ces calculs d'investissement énormes, on prétend que les pouvoirs publics n'ont pas les moyens financiers, sans même tenir compte du principe de priorité qui devrait s'appliquer. Je n'ai d'ailleurs jamais entendu parler d'un manque de fonds publics pour le réarmement, que M. Trump tente de nous imposer d'ailleurs. Et puis, enfin, pour répondre à ce défi, les grands acteurs financiers nous proposent et introduisent ce qu'on appelle des partenariats publics-privés dans lesquels les fonds publics sont censés protéger les investissements privés des risques, tandis que les tarifs doivent augmenter pour garantir une rentabilité attractive. Excellences, chers amis, je ne trouve pas cela ni juste ni raisonnable. Les plus de 2 milliards de personnes vivant dans la pauvreté qui n'ont pas accès garanti à l'eau potable ne représentent aucune opportunité commerciale. Elles nous posent un défi démocratique. Voilà la véritable nature du défi auquel nous devons faire face dans le monde. Je comprends en tout cas qu'il soit absolument raisonnable pour les États, après l'application du principe de priorité dans la répartition des budgets publics disponibles, de recourir au marché de capitaux pour complémenter des plateformes financières qui permettent de réaliser l'investissement nécessaire, mais selon des critères fondés sur l'intérêt général et non sur la logique spéculative qui régit les stratégies des grands acteurs financiers. À cet égard, il est essentiel que ces plateformes financières publiques garantissent des conditions abordables et équitables aux municipalités et collectivités territoriales responsables de ces services. Et bon, voilà, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. I'm now going to see if Hildegard Bentele is connected for a response. Hildegard?
Yes, hello.
Please.
Thank you very much. I mean, so many good ideas around the table. I just want to underline what I can do, what my contribution could be also at a global level, and as I said, also as the rapporteur for Global Gateway. First of all, we have to anchor, we would like to anchor water as a policy field in Global Gateway, and this is what I'm advocating for, what I'm working for, also in the Global Europe instrument, that we put it as a sector which is of importance, because we can combine the issue of governance in Global Gateway projects, because we combine private sector investment with development aid measures. So we can build a package which is comprehensive and which is also, as I said, in close cooperation with the partner countries, with the local authorities, and which, since it's still supported by public money, puts also the public interest at the forefront, what was just underlined by my speaker before. So I think this is a battle we'll have to fight, and I'll try to fight, but if you get this right, we'll have a good base for the next 7 years in the EU budget, and also as a task for DG INPA to further make progress in, at the same moment, helping with European technologies to solve water challenges around the world in a way which is sustainable, which respects standards, and which doesn't put the price at the first place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hildegard, and thank you. And now, Commissioner Jessika, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for this. I've been listening, taking notes, and now I will not respond to everything, but I really want to, but that's not, the time will not allow me for that. But thank you very much for the work that you also have pushed to put water high on the political agenda. Maybe I should say thank you for my title, and together also keeping up this push for water and a Blue Deal. Putting it as a framework, many of you said it, like it has to be in all our frameworks that we're doing. Thank you also for putting out the other part of the title, circular economy. I took also good note from the different views on the global aspect, if you may say so. I totally agree with, I think it was Madame Daciano said, the word or strategies is not good enough. We also need some actions, and that is, I truly share that, and that's why I think it's so important that we also team up in the preparation for both the UN Conference on Water, but also other conferences, because water needs to be streamlined, if you may say so, in our work in the upcoming different COPs in the autumn. Many have said, and I, of course, as you know, agree with that water is life. And I agree. I mean, we all know that we will not manage a day very short without water. We have other resources that we talk a lot about, energy, well, a lot about it, but actually the only resource that we really can be out without is water. So it's a resource not comparable with the others. And I agree with Hildegard saying that if we don't act now, this will be, or what maybe already are, a security threat, food production, for food production, for prosperity, and of course water cycle is global, and that is really important to remind us of all of. Many has also mentioned funding or investments. Just let me start on the global perspective, because many also raise Global Gateway. And I agree that we can use Global Gateway as a powerful accelerator when it comes to water resilience, because that is something that we all will benefit of. We already have, and you're probably aware of this, good examples on the Global Gateway investments in, for example, Papua New Guinea, where we build countries' first green ports and also strengthening their access to clean water. I'm working very closely with my colleague Joseph Sikela, as you know, on this, and I think this is a good opportunity to also continue that international partnership building. Here in Europe, I said it a little bit in my first intervention, we are working broad both filling the gap, but also to address the security angle of not investing in water and the cost of not doing nothing. We can talk about droughts or wildfires and so forth, of course, and climate change that is speeding this up. We are working with the current MFF, revision of the cohesion fund, as you know, also with the next MFF. I hear you and I agree with you, so let's continue working together on this. I also want to say this because it's also important to be hopeful, because there are a lot of innovation and techniques in Europe when it comes to water resilience broadly. So I also see that this is an opportunity for Europe not only to lead but also to spread the techniques. But here, of course, that's why we all talk about the necessary to invest in skills. Just to add very shortly, because I think many who said that public money is essential, of course, will continue to be that, but that will not be enough. So we need to be looking to innovative financial solutions. We, as you know, are working with the nature credits roadmap, but also we are having the Water Resilience Investment Accelerator, and that is a lot of things that we can work together on. Thank you very much for listening to so close to my speech in the Green Week. I think it's good examples, so thank you for reminding us all. It's a link of both innovation and the nature-based solutions and funding, actually, because it showcases that it is possible to do things smarter, more efficiently, and better for nature and better for our wallets. So that is a good thing. To conclude, it's a lot of things that we have not talked about at this, and it's not because we are not and you are not, because we can also talk very lengthy about pollution of water, which I also put a lot of effort in. I mean, that is, but that's for next time, maybe. But it's, I mean, we have sometimes too much water, sometimes too little water. We have droughts, we have floodings, we have pollution, and we have all these things. And it is global action that is needed, of course. And that's why I'm so happy that we're also putting this forward for the conferences this year. To end, thank you very much for this debate. Thank you for your input. We all feel the urgency, I think, but we also realize that this is not a sprint. It is a marathon, and it will demand that we work together across sectors, across all the things that we are represented here, but also globally. So thank you very much for your inputs.
Thank you, Commissioner, dear Jessica. Thank you for your commitment and for the urgency of which you're treating this subject. May I also thank Hildegard Bentele, who was here as well, and Pedro Arrojo-Agudo for their presentation, and of course the rapporteurs. Just to say this, a few very quick points. I think we're all taking, as the Commissioner has just said, a huge sense of urgency from this debate. Yes, it's not a sprint. But it has to be a consistent marathon that we finally solve the various issues, as you outlined, connected to water. This committee will be, for the first time ever, part of the EU delegation to the UN Water Conference. Also in September, we will host a dedicated forum for civil society organisations to discuss expectations, challenges ahead of the UN conference. So I'd simply like to thank especially all of you on the floor who contributed to this debate, and of course our great rapporteurs on both sides of me who have put a huge amount of work into this area. The Vice President is telling me to pay a lot of attention to the visuals of our new branding system. You'll see it all around. I think it's making a huge difference, so thank you, Maria. I should have said that earlier. Okay, so we're now coming to the vote. I'm just looking, you have to go. So I think we will say thank you sincerely, Commissioner, for being here. And we will see you again.
We will see you again.
Okay.
Thank you very much. See you soon. See you soon. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again, and here we now come to the actual business of the two opinions which are before you. We'll start with CCMI 254. As far as I understand, amendments are accepted. Where's the rapporteurs? Are they gone? Okay. Yeah, I need some of the rapporteurs to stay around. You might be needed. Okay. Okay, they're giving the thumbs up, but I do have to ask the audience, have you accepted? And I think they have. Okay, and I need to get my own voting machine. So I now put that motion, or that opinion, to the vote. Vote is open. Okay, we're coming to a declaration. A few votes coming in still. The vote is closed, and the result is 182 approved, abstention 4. Congratulations to our rapporteurs. The opinion is agreed. I now come to the CCMI 261, Blue Deal Accelerator, Technology, Skills and Finance for a Water Resilient Future. Again, amendments are accepted. However, there is some compromises, I think, on which I will have to read out. So first of all, the 2.1 is a compromise, which now is in front of you, but I will read the amendment. With water scarcity, climate impacts and competing uses already affect key sectors of the EU economy, whilst emphasising that water is a human right and a public good. The EESC calls for water to be treated as a critical production factor, underpinning competitiveness and strategic autonomy, and as a strategic standalone priority across all EU policies. That's the amendment. Am I right? Or have I not? Oh, no, sorry, that's the compromise. Apologies. It's actually in front of you. Okay, I'll read this particular one. The EESC emphasises that water is a human right and underlines the importance of an integrated approach to water policy linking social, environmental, industrial innovation, skills and infrastructure policies. Water governance and financial frameworks should safeguard the public interest and ensure the universal, affordable and equitable access to water and sanitation. Private sector participation can contribute additional resources and expertise, provided that public authorities maintain full responsibility and accountability for service provision and access outcomes. The BDA should translate strategic priorities into tangible measures, supporting the transition towards a water-smart society and economy, and provided a practical framework to connect industrial transformation, the use of water-smart technologies, workforce development and investments. It should promote integrated approaches combining grey infrastructure with NBS, including wetlands, which act as natural sponges that store and regulate and purify water. In this opinion, we define wetlands according to the 1971 Ramsar Convention on Wetlands of International Importance, especially as waterfowl habitat. Okay. Is that compromise accepted? There's a lot of nodding yes, so I'm taking that as done. So in that case, I think we are available, just checking my experts, we are available to put this opinion to the floor. The vote is open. Okay, we're looking at the votes still coming in, but I am about to come to closure, so I declare the vote is closed. Thank you. And yes, 183, and abstention 7. Congratulations to both of you for what was an extraordinary piece of work. Okay, that comes to the end of that debate. Just before, unfortunately, I have to leave because of an engagement. Don't know if I will be back at the end of the plenary, but we'll see how that works. So I'll be handing you into the capable hands of my Vice President, Elena, to continue with the rest of the business. Simply to say on my own behalf to thank you sincerely for the constructive debate right through the plenary, and we have still work to do, so don't go too far away. So may I hand over to Elena to continue with the process. Thank you very much.
So, dear colleagues, we will continue the debate on the opinions. So, next opinion is NAT 968 on the evaluation of Common Agricultural Policy delivery on its objectives. And the rapporteur is Joe Haley and co-rapporteur Joseph Bokshiru-Kamura. So, I would like to ask both of the gentlemen to come to the podium. So, Joe is coming, and Joseph.
Forgot the phone. Where is it? This one? Oh, this one.
So we're looking for Joseph. He's not in the room. And yes, he'll be called by the other colleagues.
Yes. Thank you.
What's that song, Just When I Needed You Most?
Yeah, I think because if you speak, then he doesn't know about what you speak. Yes, we are waiting for you. So now I can give the floor to Joe Haley to present the opinion. Each of you will have 2 minutes, and we start with the rapporteur. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I was getting worried there. I thought, as the song goes, that Joseph had deserted me just when I needed him most. So glad that he's back. Thank you very much, President. And indeed, before I start, I would just want to thank Joseph, who was a great co-rapporteur, and Nicoletta, who was an excellent President, and indeed all the members of the study group and our advisers, Kevin and Alan, as well. Look, I suppose to break it down into numbers, it was a case of 5 countries, 60 stakeholder organisations, 150 questionnaires, and 1 overall key message. And that message was that CAP has successfully delivered for EU citizens for over 60 years by ensuring an adequate supply of safe, top-quality food at affordable prices, while also mitigating against climate change. The CAP continues to evolve and adapt and must continue to be strongly funded and index-linked to counter inflation, rising costs and market volatility. So that was the key message from all the organisations. And I do want to also acknowledge those 60 organisations that was very obviously not just turning up for a tick-box exercise. The amount of work and research and effort that those 60 organisations put into the meetings that we had with them has to be acknowledged and thanked. Some of the other key messages that came up for a lot of debate and discussion and indeed agreement across the organisations. And those organisations ranged from workers' groups to consumers to farm organisations to Department of Agriculture officials in the various countries. So it was really a case of talking to the stakeholders right across the food chain and getting their views on the CAP. And in order for us to evaluate them. So the other issues that came up were maintaining the two-pillar approach, strengthening farmers' positions in the food supply chain, enhancing generation renewal, structural incentives specifically for women and women-led projects like they have in Ireland and Spain, setting more environmental goals with proportionate incentives. Social conditionality was a big one. Simplifying the administrative burden. Leader came in for a lot of positive discussion. Improving civil society engagement. The CAP supports to ensure that they're maintained within the EU, and that arose out of an issue where 71 million had gone to a royal family that lived in the UAE, and the final one was to ensure good working conditions for seasonal workers. Thank you very much, and sorry for slightly going over my time. Thank you.
Thank you. So now, Joseph, please.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Muchísimas gracias y muchísimas gracias, Joe. El trabajo que se ha hecho en esta evaluación, hemos hecho otras evaluaciones. La sección NAT es experta, pero esta ha sido especialmente complicada. ¿Por qué? Porque la política agrícola común, desde siempre, y también en las nuevas perspectivas financieras y en el marco financiero plurianual, es la política en mayúsculas a efectos presupuestarios. Por tanto, no es neutro hacer una evaluación tal como ha explicado yo, con la cantidad de stakeholders consultados. Os recomiendo que quien tenga ganas de estudiar un poco este verano mire todos los anexos, lo hemos recomendado a la Comisión, porque ha sido muchísima la aportación que se ha dado. Evaluar una de las grandes políticas europeas con más impacto territorial y más impacto dentro de la futura Europa, evidentemente, tan importante como la defensa va a ser la autonomía estratégica y va a ser el mantener una estructura productiva, agrícola capaz y agroalimentaria capaz de satisfacer las necesidades del continente y mantener el liderazgo a nivel mundial en exportaciones, en tecnología, etc. Por tanto, nuestros interlocutores, ¿qué querían? No evaluar la pasada, sino ya marcar líneas estratégicas para la futura política agrícola común. Bien, está en los documentos, ustedes pueden verlo. Yo creo que se ha hecho un trabajo muy serio. El equipo y nuestros dos expertos han trabajado muchísimo, pero los servicios del comité han hecho un trabajo, insisto, muy, muy importante que queda resumido en el documento que hoy presentamos. Por lo tanto, les recomiendo que lo vean y les recomiendo como análisis ver todos los informes que se han generado en los 5 países y que marcan de alguna manera, a partir de la experiencia de una de las grandes políticas europeas, cuál debe ser la línea de futuro. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias, Presidenta.
Thank you to both rapporteur, and now I would like to open the floor for the debate. Each of you will have 1 minute, and the first one is Holger Bartels. Holger, the floor is yours.
Danke, Frau Präsidentin. Ich muss leider feststellen, dass die Bewertung nicht ausgewogen ist. Die Belange der Umwelt sind klar, die Interessen der Bauern sind beschrieben, aber die Interessen der Arbeitnehmerinnen und Arbeitnehmer im Agrarsektor sind falsch dargestellt. Die soziale Konditionalität ist keine Belastung, sondern sie ist ein Schutz. Sie ist der einzige Schutz, den die GAP für Arbeitnehmerinnen und Arbeitnehmer vorsieht. Und das Beschreiben, dass es sich um eine Belastung handelt, ist nur für diejenigen von Bedeutung, die sich nicht an Recht und Gesetz halten. Für alle anderen ist es keine Belastung. Und es ist tatsächlich nach 60 Jahren, Joe hat es beschrieben, der erste und einzige Punkt, der Arbeitnehmerinnen und Arbeitnehmern in der GAP vorsieht. Und die Beschreibung in dem Dokument und die Kritik ist nicht akzeptabel. Es spiegelt einfach nur Gutsherrenmentalität wider. Und das ist nach 100 Jahren nicht mehr klar. Und für alle, die für Fairness in der Beschäftigung in der Landwirtschaft sind, müsste klar sein, mit Nein zu stimmen. Danke.
Thank you. Next speaker is Stoyan Jukanov.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, dear colleagues, could you believe, according to the Chinese statistics for the last 10 years, there is no food inflation? Through the COVID lockdown, etc. So how is this possible? Through massive support from their side. So now this report comes from 5 member states and 60 organizations, but actually if it was done in 27 member states, that would be the same message. In these very turbulent times, Europe is stepping back from subsidizing the most important sector. Everything is possible, but without food, anything is possible. So good work coming from Joe and Joseph, because to summarize all the response from really carefully taken into consideration those 60 organizations, it was a great job done. Thank you.
Thank you. And next speaker is Mark de Koster. Mark, the floor is yours.
Oui, voilà. D'abord, félicitations d'avoir su contenter un peu tous les groupes et de savoir synthétiser tout cela. Merci d'avoir accepté les amendements que vous avez même défendus. Je tenais simplement à souligner que pour avoir participé à la rencontre de la Roumanie, combien le soutien de la PAC reste précieux et nécessaire pour les agriculteurs, puisque souvent ils représentent, et a fortiori dans l'élevage, 80-90% du revenu des agriculteurs. Quant à la conditionnalité sociale, que je partage tout à fait à 100%, je tiens à souligner quand même que souvent les conditions même des agriculteurs restent très, très difficiles. Vous n'avez qu'à regarder le nombre de suicides qu'il y a. Je viens de lire une petite anecdote de la presse française qui souligne que 40% des agricultrices ne prennent par exemple pas de congé maternité. Merci et encore une fois félicitations.
Merci, Mark. And next speaker is Domantas Stratsevicius. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to congratulate Rapporteur and Co-Rapporteur on an excellent report. And the stakeholders, farmers, were clear. They want more environmental ambition, verifiable environmental outcomes, and of course they need financial support to achieve it. Thank you very much for accepting my amendment. Thank you.
Thank you for being very brief. And next speaker is Piroska Kanai. Piroska, please.
Köszönöm szépen a szót. Először is szeretnék gratulálni a jelentéstevőknek. Azt gondolom, hogy kiváló munkát végeztek. A munkacsoport tagjaként különösen nagyra értékelem, hogy ez az értékelő jelentés számos széleskörű tapasztalatra, helyszíni látogatásra és az érintett szereplőkkel való párbeszédre irányul. Azt gondolom, hogy ezt nagyon fontos megjegyezni, mert ugye az értékelő jelentés nagyrészt azt mutatja, ami elhangzott a különböző látogatások, illetve párbeszédek alkalmával. Ezért itt kiemelném, hogy bár egyetértek, mint munkavállalói csoport képviselő a szociális feltételességgel kapcsolatos megjegyzésekre, itt a jelentésben viszont azt kell feltüntetni leginkább, ami ugye elhangzott. Jól lehet, Magyarország nem szerepelt a pilot országok között, mégis azt gondolom, hogy ennek a jelentésnek a megállapításai széles körben alkalmazhatók, illetve értelmezhetők mind a 27 tagállam számára. Köszönöm szépen, és még egyszer gratulálok.
Thank you, and I give the floor to Nicoleta Merlo.
Thank you, President.
Innanzitutto volevo anch'io ringraziare il relatore e il correlatore per lo straordinario lavoro che hanno fatto. Ho partecipato personalmente a 2 visite paese, abbiamo ricevuto tantissimi contributi, tantissimi feedback ed era davvero una grandissima sfida riuscire a mettere insieme tutti i contributi in un report di valutazione, quindi congratulazioni davvero. Io volevo però porre l'accento su un altro tema, secondo me cruciale, che è quello del ricambio generazionale. L'età media degli agricoltori europei è 57-58 anni, in Irlanda siamo a 59 e questo dato, anche visto in prospettiva futura, è estremamente drammatico perché tra 10 anni senza un ricambio reale noi probabilmente non ci troveremo più a parlare di PAC, ma ci chiederemo davvero chi sarà ancora a coltivare la terra in Europa. E quello che abbiamo sentito nelle missioni è molto chiaro, servono sussidi ma da soli non bastano, dobbiamo quindi continuare a lavorare per promuovere e supportare i giovani e le donne in agricoltura. Grazie.
Thank you, Nicoleta, and I would like to give the floor to Maria Nicolopoulou.
Sí, muchísimas gracias. Felicidades de mi parte también a los dos ponentes. Este documento no es un dictamen del comité. Si fuese un dictamen del comité, hubiese sido redactado de otra manera, mucho más equilibrada también en cuanto a la condicionalidad laboral y de otros temas. Yo participé en la misión de España y una de las cosas que me llamó más la atención en cuanto a la condicionalidad laboral es que ninguno de los sectores con quienes nos hemos entrevistado ha hablado bien. No han hablado contra el principio de la condicionalidad social, sino en cuanto a la implementación. Por diferentes motivos, tanto los sindicatos como las organizaciones agrarias como la Administración han tenido críticas. Entonces yo creo que precisamente este documento está muy bien redactado porque refleja bien los comentarios y como CES en nuestros futuros trabajos tenemos que trabajar sobre cómo implementar mejor en todos los países una idea que está muy bien pensada pero mal implementada y sobre todo que estará bajo ataques por lo que nos consta de las diferentes organizaciones. Gracias.
And the last speaker is Arnold Purnelisac.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente, par intérim, par ordre et par délégation. C'est un bonheur pour moi de saluer le travail de nos 2 travailleurs qui ont fait le tour de l'Union européenne pour voir ce qui se passait réellement. Confier notre défense aux États-Unis d'Amérique a été un échec pour l'Union européenne et on se rend compte des faiblesses dans lesquelles nous sommes. Confier notre alimentation à d'autres serait aussi un grand risque. La politique agricole commune est la seule politique intégrée de l'Union européenne et c'est une grande réussite. Il ne faut surtout pas la démanteler. Et je saluerai la réussite de cette politique par 2 chiffres. Si l'Espagne faisait 1 milliard d'excédents agroalimentaires il y a 25 ans, elle en fait 18 maintenant, et l'Union européenne fait maintenant 60 milliards d'excédents agroalimentaires. Et vous savez, dans une Europe qui va mal, dans une Europe qui ne gagne pas sa vie, quand on gagne de l'argent, ça profite à tout le monde. Donc je voulais souligner cette réussite, mais cette réussite ne se fait pas sans argent public, et je soutiens l'initiative franco-allemande pour mettre 500 milliards d'euros pour la politique agricole commune sur le prochain cadre financier pluriannuel. Merci.
Merci à toi. And now I give the floor to the rapporteur and co-rapporteur. Each of you has 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, and I don't think we even need 2 minutes. And look, I want to acknowledge and thank everyone who spoke and for their positivity towards the evaluation. And I think that's what's important here, and Maria rightly highlighted that. It's not an opinion. It's an evaluation. So it was our job to bring what the different stakeholders said to us when we met them, when we spoke to them, to bring it all together and to summarise it into the document that's in front of you. So, you know, I think people have to keep that in mind, that it's not an opinion, it's an evaluation. And just in relation to the social conditionality and workers' rights, we tried to incorporate that. And just a quick glance at the report in front of us, I see 3 very key points there, 2.11, 3.5 and 5.8. highlighting the importance of social conditionality for workers, and also highlighting some of the weaknesses that was there so that we can learn from those going forward. And I think that's what's very important. Other than that, look, I just want to thank the rest for your very positive comments in relation to the work done, and to thank everyone involved, and look forward to your support in the vote in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph, do you want to add anything?
Okay. Reitero las palabras de Joe, el agradecimiento a todos, y centrar exactamente dos elementos que yo creo que están en este análisis clarísimos. Afectan a temas importantes: condicionalidad social, condicionalidad ambiental, ecosistemas, complicaciones. Hay un elemento clave, casi unánime, en la búsqueda de la simplificación de los sistemas, en la no duplicidad. Eso es algo que subyace en todas esas aportaciones. Por tanto, para la nueva política agrícola común, que este no es nuestro objetivo, hay que recoger que esos temas, que son importantes, deben estar de forma práctica, efectiva y simplificada en todos los ámbitos. O sea, que haya críticas contra la regulación ambiental, no de fondo. Lo que hay eran críticas claramente a que los esquemas y la condicionalidad, además desarrollados por los distintos Estados miembros, complicaban mucho la gestión. Y en condicionalidad social, no lo digo para rebajar el nivel ni mucho menos, no se condicionaba tanto. Lo que se condicionaba es la duplicidad con las legislaciones laborales, la dificultad de la aplicación y los distintos rangos incluso de mecanismos sancionadores. Por tanto, son temas que han salido y, como tal, están ahí recogidos. Y otro tema y último, Presidenta, es el tema de que el documento sí marca algunas alertas. Y una de las alertas principales, lo ha dicho Nicoleta, es el tema del relevo generacional, o qué modelo de agricultura va a producirse en Europa en los nuevos marcos. Por tanto, entiéndalo como esto, entiéndanlo como un ejercicio de recoger esos datos y dejar para la Comisión y para nosotros mismos, cuando tengamos que trabajar, elementos válidos y veraces de referencia para los nuevos trabajos. Gracias.
Thank you. And we have received some amendments, but to my knowledge they were accepted. I need to ask if anybody is against. I don't see anybody. We therefore go to the voting. We will vote twice because, first of all, we need to vote on the evaluation report, and then we also need to vote that we will be sending this report to the other EU institutions. So, first of all, we go for the vote on the evaluation report, and I declare the vote open. So the votes are still coming. And now I declare the vote closed. And the result is 166 in favor, 3 against, and 4 abstentions. Congratulations. Now I open the vote for sending the document to the other institutions. So I put this on the vote. The vote is open. And the vote is closed. And the result is 171 vote in favor, 3 against, and 1 abstention. Therefore, the report will be transmitted to the other 3 institutions. Congratulations to the rapporteur and co-rapporteur. Now we go to the ECHO 691, an opinion on an information report, my apologies, on national reform and investment proposals and their implementation. It's about the European semester cycle 2025-2026. And I would like to ask the rapporteurs Gonzalo Lobo Javier and Andrea Monet and Luca Jaillet So if 3 of you could come. And I will ask you who will be the first one presenting the report. It's you, so you have 3 minutes in total, meaning each of you 1 minute. You need to be sharp. 1 minute each. Okay, sorry. So 2 minutes. You negotiate well. Yes. So we start then by Gonzalo. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. It's always a pleasure to make business with you. I will start and I will use part of my time to thank the incredible team of the Secretariat that managed to help us on doing this exercise. And the names are Colombe Gregoire, Anna Pantazzi and Laura Pucciataite. With their help, we managed to build a very interesting report in the exercise that we have been doing in the European semester in the last years. That is a questionnaire on the 22 member states and 5 dedicated roundtable discussions engaging more than 100 stakeholders. And with that, we managed to complete and have a very interesting portrait of the reality of the member states regarding the implementation of national and medium-term fiscal structural budget plans. And the conclusions are not a big surprise, but the fact is that we need to react on this. There are limited resources, and there is a heavy administrative burden and fragmented process when it comes to monitoring the implementation of those plans. That is to say, in the process of the European semester, there is a lot to do. We need to make a difference, and we need to reinforce the structures of the stakeholders in order and the policy process in order to combine the opinions of the reality of the civil society with policy making process.
Thank you. And then who will be next? Luca, go ahead.
Thank you so much, dear Elena. So, continuing on the information report that is summarizing the result of this large consultation, of course, the information report is only a summary, but there is a large annex of 100 pages, very much detailed, that usually is the most rich and important things to be read, at least by the other institution. I wish to point 2 points of our consultation. The first will not be a surprise for you, is concerning participation. And what we take from all the consultation on all the chapters that we have consulted of this questionnaire is that while a formal consultation mechanism exists now at the different levels in all member states, the participation of social partners and civil society organizations in the European semester and related EU instruments is widely characterized by insufficient in substance. So consultations are always taking place too late and had a limited influence on the final policy decision. So this is a reality that is largely testified. Second, concerning one of the most discussed issues also in these days of discussion in the EUCO or the MFF is the link between the next MFF and the European semester. And here the result largely shared by the stakeholders is that from one side there is a full understanding that this link could strengthen the coordination between the European level and the national level of the budget and improve coherence and effectiveness. But there could be also huge potential risk on national autonomy, on democratic oversight, and possible imbalance in decision-making process that should be addressed and have clear safeguard. But this will come in our resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Andrea.
Thank you. I'm going to speak in Italian. Innanzitutto volevo anch'io ringraziare sia i componenti del gruppo sia il segretariato per il grandissimo supporto che hanno fornito. Mi focalizzo su una nota positiva e due aree di miglioramento che sono emerse da questo rapporto di informazione. La nota positiva è sicuramente quella che dalla rilevazione che abbiamo fatto emerge un allineamento delle raccomandazioni su quelli che sono le sfide e i cambiamenti strutturali in atto delle società interessate. Quindi c'è un allineamento delle raccomandazioni specifiche per Paese a quelle che sono sostanzialmente le priorità. Le due aree di miglioramento sono chiaramente correlate a queste raccomandazioni e pertengono da un lato ad una debolezza dell'implementazione delle raccomandazioni a livello nazionale, specie e chiaramente per quelle riguardanti le questioni sociali, e che sono appunto correlate anche a quello che diceva Luca poc'anzi rispetto al coinvolgimento delle parti sociali e della società civile organizzata all'implementazione delle raccomandazioni. Ed una seconda area di miglioramento è quella relativa ancora ad uno squilibrio che è storico tra quelli che sono gli obiettivi economici e fiscali delle raccomandazioni con quelle che sono invece le questioni più sociali. Questo che cosa determina? Determina chiaramente un impatto sia oggettivo su quella che è appunto l'adeguatezza dell'implementazione, ma anche un deficit democratico, mina sostanzialmente questa questione la legittimità anche sociale e l'accettazione poi sociale delle raccomandazioni a livello di Paese. Ecco, queste sono le questioni che abbiamo cercato di evidenziare e che poi abbiamo cercato anche di affrontare con le raccomandazioni che svilupperemo successivamente. Grazie.
Grazie mille. And now I open the floor for the discussion. And I have Mr. Dos Orit. So the floor is yours.
I will speak Spanish. Bueno, veo que soy el último, pero que tampoco tengo más de un minuto. Soy el único, pero solo tengo un minuto. Entonces, creo que hay que tener en cuenta la importancia, y es lo que me gustaría subrayar, del trabajo que hace el Grupo del Semestre Europeo, sus miembros, la Presidencia y sobre todo el staff, para tener algo que no sucede con otras actividades, que es haber convertido en una costumbre el realizar cada año una encuesta a todos los integrantes de la sociedad civil interesados en el gobierno económico de Europa para conocer su opinión sobre aspectos clave del semestre europeo, es decir, sobre las orientaciones de política económica. Su anexo es extraordinariamente interesante, contiene una información para nosotros, pero para las instituciones europeas enormemente rica, y por lo tanto el resultado de este trabajo, que luego se complementa con el siguiente dictamen, que son nuestras opiniones, pero que en parte se nutre de este trabajo, hacen yo creo que uno de los más excelentes tipos de trabajo que se hacen en este comité. Y nada más, no tengo tiempo, no añado nada más.
Thank you very much. So you had a great appreciation. And you have now 1 minute per each to respond to this appreciation.
Well, thank you, Madam Vice President. I will use this minute just to say this. The European semester is a tool that the Member States can use in order to implement policies regarding financial, fiscal, social, labour issues. And we seem to be, the three of us, like priests, because we are trying to convince the member states, and we are trying to convince even the members, even in this House, that this exercise is useful and it's interesting for the civil society organizations. And the fact is that this exercise proves exactly this. It's a very interesting tool that should be used and should be more prepared by the policy making process, by the policymakers and in the policy making process. And this is not rhetoric. This is really, really the reality. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I will not ask you if you feel like a priest or maybe musketeer, three musketeers.
As Gonzalo said that he feels a priest, I can say that I feel a bishop, perhaps. I don't know. No, I will.
You are the Pope, actually.
No, don't mix. He's always dressed in white and is dangerous white. I want to use this minute just to make a provocation to you colleagues. This European semester group and work has been one of the most innovative structural innovations that the committee has realized in the past now is 8 years. And as very often happens, when you transform a large innovation in a sort of continuous, there is less appetite, it seems. We should be thankful to Gonzalo because he was the first that was pushing for this when I was president of this House, and I still remember that not so many people were supporting Gonzalo, so I had to defend him in the Bureau against many that didn't want to do this work. And today this work is involving 81 members of this committee in a structural work yearly in this consultation process. So we should defend this in a moment, not because it's something that we have to preserve forever, but because we are in a moment where discussion on the next MFF, the link with the semester, the structural reform of the fiscal policy, the challenges, this is the core instrument that connects everything, giving the voice to all the stakeholders. So we should be proud, defend, promote, and enlarge the exercise. And taking in mind that not because we are doing since 8 years, we can lower our attention to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Luca, you negotiated 2 minutes for the previous one. That was 1 minute. Passo la parola a Andrea.
Grazie, cercherò di essere brevissimo, perché convengo su quello che diceva Javier dell'importanza di questo esercizio, che non è appunto un esercizio procedurale, ma è davvero un concreto impegno nel cercare di valutare tempestivamente una multidimensionalità di questioni che ci permettono di elaborare poi delle politiche non solo relativamente alla governance economica, ma anche in termini più generali. Quindi è davvero un lavoro che merita sostanzialmente di importanza, di impegno, ma che credo che poi possa anche dare un impulso e un impatto all'attività che abbiamo nel Comitato Economico e Sociale di influenzare le politiche in generale dell'Unione Europea. Grazie.
So now we will have to vote twice as for the previous report. We therefore vote first on the information report itself, and I declare the vote open. Each of them. We will add 2 votes. Three. Two. So 2. And I declare the vote closed. And the result is 155 votes in favor and 2 abstentions. Congratulations. And now the vote on the transmission of the information report to the EU institutions, and I declare the vote open. Now I declare the vote closed. And the result of the vote is 165 in favor and 1 abstention. Congratulations. And you will stay with here because we now will have a vote on ECO 692, which is the resolution on the EESC's recommendations on the reform and investment proposals formulated as part of the 2025-2026 European semester cycle. I therefore ask first of the rapporteurs, Gonzalo, again, for 2 minutes to present this resolution.
Thank you again. Building on the views and experiences shared by stakeholders across the member states, we have formulated a number of key recommendations under this perspective. So I will briefly present a few, but our first recommendation is to enhance the partnership principle, step by step, as the governance of the MFF and the European semester converge. The resolution also calls on the Commission to improve both the quality and the timing of the information and consultation process within the European semester. This is crucial to be successful and to clarify a process that must be transparent and that must involve even more the organizations and the stakeholders. In addition, the resolution calls for the introduction of a mandatory assessment of the quality and impact of the partnership. So, like I said before, it's reality that we need to improve. And this assessment should not examine not only whether partners have been consulted, this is not enough, but also the extent to which their input has shaped final operation programs. So we really want to have, let me call, an impact assessment of the consultation in order to bring reality to the political decisions. Finally, this should be accompanied by radical simplification of delivery mechanisms. And this is also fundamental to involve society and to involve us in the process to get better results. Thank you.
Thank you. I presume we will have the same order, so Luca.
Thank you, Elena. So, as you have seen, we will not make a long test because it's a resolution, so we focus on 10 points. We have already 2 other documents, 13 pages plus 100 of an annex that are the basis of this work, because we want to be ready to listen. 2 points I want to underline here. The first, we call on the Commission to better integrate the 4 forms of capital together, economic, human, social and environmental, calling for an intensified focus on an enhanced sustainable competitiveness as established in the Article 3 of the Treaty. This will call also for moving beyond the GDP-centric growth, adopting a model of security defined by economic resilience, social cohesion and environmental sustainability. The second point concerning what I already raised before, the link between the MFF, the European semester, we support this link. We believe that a closer link could enhance the EU added value, putting together the force of the EU budget with the force of the national budget in a coordinated manner towards achieving what has been established as priority altogether, and not leaving and giving more impact in this complex work. But this needs the establishment of a clear safeguard for democracy, subsidiarity and social balance. Furthermore, we call also for the implementation of the single market, paying particular attention to the capital market union, to be fully integrated into the European semester and into the country-specific recommendation, although we will keep 2 parallel models that will not work. And finally, to unlock all the potentiality of the European semester and the MFF link, we think we have to preserve flexibility, subsidiarity, multi-level governance, but also reject the logic of punitive macroeconomic conditionality, and we recommend a structure of positive incentive where the EU budget can help the Member State to resolve the many bottlenecks that are existing. Thank you.
Grazie Luca, passo la parola a Andrea.
Sì, grazie. Io mi soffermo su due elementi delle raccomandazioni, uno di carattere più generale, più politico, e l'altro di carattere un po' più tecnico. Quello generale è questo, che dalle raccomandazioni emerge un obiettivo preciso, ovvero che è quello secondo cui, se veramente vogliamo garantire una sostenibilità di lungo termine all'Unione Europea e anche una sua resilienza economica strutturata, ebbene è necessario che vi sia un margine, uno spazio di manovra economico e fiscale in grado di perseguire e raggiungere degli obiettivi sociali comuni. Questo è forse l'obiettivo più importante che queste raccomandazioni evidenziano, e questo obiettivo deve servire anche per implementare alcuni strumenti che l'Unione Europea ha lanciato, come l'Investment Social Hub o anche il Social Convergence Framework, che chiaramente sono strumenti molto importanti per questo fine. Rispetto invece alla questione più pratica, abbiamo visto in precedenza come vi siano delle criticità relative alla implementazione e anche allo squilibrio tra componenti sociali e componenti diciamo fiscali ed economiche. Per questo le raccomandazioni propongono sostanzialmente la creazione di un quadro più solido a livello nazionale che aiuti i governi e le parti sociali e le organizzazioni civili della società civile ad un dinamismo maggiore nell'implementazione, nella progettazione, nell'attuazione e nel monitoraggio delle raccomandazioni. Questo, come vi dicevo prima, è parte integrante di un progetto che voglia essere realmente più sociale ma anche appunto più democratico in termini di valori. Quindi è fondamentale per quel che ci riguarda creare questo quadro che premi anche attraverso un'assistenza tecnica chiaramente le misure positive e tenga presenti anche quelli che sono gli squilibri territoriali a livello europeo. Grazie.
Thank you, and now we will open the debate. I hope there will be somebody accompanying Javier. Javier, you are the first one, I can say. First and last one. So go ahead.
En la evaluación que ha recogido el documento anterior, el ECO 691, una de las cuestiones que yo destacaba comparando con anteriores es que la sociedad civil europea tiene mejor opinión, más positiva sobre las recomendaciones del semestre, por las recomendaciones específicas por país. Bien, para el futuro, sin embargo, yo veo las cosas bastante más problemáticas. Coincido en lo principal de lo que se dice en el documento sobre la condicionalidad macroeconómica punitiva, el tema de las cuestiones sociales infravaloradas, la participación de los interlocutores sociales, pero sobre todo hay un problema que es la debilidad del marco financiero plurianual futuro y sobre todo esos compromisos que se tienen en materia de defensa. 5% del PIB inalcanzable, no sé por qué hay que seguir sosteniendo esos compromisos impuestos por un presidente, Donald Trump, que acaba de cometer la mayor de las barbaridades estratégicas y que acaba de pagarlo ahora mismo en un lamentable positivo porque ese acuerdo de paz, pero evidentemente planteando un panorama muy negativo. ¿Por qué digo me preocupa? Me preocupa, termino, un minuto, me preocupa el tema de defensa en relación con los gastos sociales y de inversión, porque no tenemos una defensa europea común que pudiese justificar unas inversiones. ¿Por qué? Acabamos de ver la renuncia de Alemania y Francia del nuevo avión de combate. Cada país a lo suyo y no poner las cosas en común. En este contexto, los compromisos en materia de defensa me parecen, en relación a la debilidad del gasto y sin las inversiones del plan de recuperación, sumamente preocupantes para el futuro.
Thank you. So now I go to the rapporteurs. So Gonzalo, again, you have 1 minute now.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. One of the, I don't like conspiracy theories, but the fact is that this kind of exercise is provoking some reactions or no reaction in some institutions. Like the work we do in this institution, in the European Economic and Social Committee. There are a few people that take decisions that look at the kind of work that we produce here with some biased ideas. And why? Because we perform, we send messages. We really know the reality, we come from the ground. And the proof that this exercise is important is exactly some reactions that we will have in the next months about this. I close with one idea. We will have a conference on the 30th of June that will raise a lot of these questions. We'll have a conference in our house, in the European Economic and Social Committee. So take the chance to have a look on the effects and on the results of our conference. Thank you.
So thank you for the invitation, and I hand the floor to Luca.
Yes, taking inspiration on one of the issues raised by Javier, I wish to put at the attention of the plenary this critical point, that there has been an evolving of this instrument of the semester that is becoming more crucial year by year. The first has been the reform of the fiscal pact. So now the European semester and the country-specific orientation become the cornerstone of the multi-annual fiscal budget of any member state for 4 to 7 years. Now it's proposed that the country-specific recommendation become the cornerstone of the spending of the MFF. So our exercise in the past has been very much looked at, supported and positively evaluated by the Commission and the Parliament. In this period we see, I could say, a lack of attention. In the Commission, of course, they are looking to what happened with all the revolution of the organigram, and in the Econ Committee, I would say that they are a bit lost. And that's the problem, because where this instrument become more structural for all the spending and the fiscal policy, and the two institutions seems, one, to be looking to what next in the future, and the other, to be less interested to follow this feedback on the instrument, we have a problem, not only for the impact of the EESC, but for the instrument as such. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.
Sì, seguendo le considerazioni di Javier, credo sia evidente quanto la capacità, diciamo, dell'Unione Europea di affrontare le sfide sia interne sia chiaramente del contesto internazionale dipenda da questi tre fattori, ovvero politiche, governance, e quindi processi e risorse. Quindi è chiaro che il meccanismo del semestre europeo, quindi il coordinamento della governance economica ma anche sociale dell'Unione Europea, sia strettamente correlato a quello che è il piano multiannuale finanziario. E credo che appunto nelle raccomandazioni questo sia ben espresso e che chiaramente possa anche fornire un ulteriore contributo per quelle materie, come vi dicevo prima, la questione della multidimensionalità di questo processo è anche in questo, perché anche alcune materie che chiaramente sono difficilmente appannaggio dell'Europa, appunto vediamo la questione della difesa, che è chiaramente una questione centrale per aumentare l'integrazione, possano essere anche affrontate con il contributo, diciamo, di questo esercizio. Grazie.
Grazie a te. And now we will vote on the resolution. And I declare the vote is open. One vote.
No, ce l'ho.
You have to.
Yes, two, but you want to have three.
And I declare the vote closed. And the result is 173 in favor and 3 noes. Congratulations to 3 of you. And And now I would like to ask Konstantinos Diamantouros and Dominika Biegon to come to the podium. We will be speaking about the ECO 698 on EU budget expenditure tracking and performance framework. I have to say that I participated at the discussion in the European Parliament when you were both presented, so I'm really pleased that we have something to say on tracking and performance framework when it comes to EU budget. So first will be speaking the rapporteur, Konstantinos.
You can start.
Konstantinos, are you ready? So you have 2 minutes each.
Thank you, President. Maybe even I'll need a bit less. So good morning, everyone. Maybe to give the context here, this is a part of the MFF which is, I think, less known. Everyone focuses on the amounts and how they're actually, split between the pillars. But this opinion actually is how actually you will be able to track the performance, and what the Commission has actually proposed is to kind of make a uniform kind of methodology, because in the past this was actually, split amongst the different programs. So what they are proposing is a one legislative proposal which would actually reduce the number of indicators from 5,000 to about 900. And with that, we would be able to, in a kind of transparent manner, to say, okay, what money has been spent in a nutshell on which activities and how has this contributed to environmental competitiveness and social goals, so in a nutshell. So what I would like to kind of highlight on this opinion is that, first of all, we worked very well with the co-rapporteur, and I think we've produced an opinion which welcomes, the proposal, and we do welcome the simplification there. At the same time, we have proposed a series of, I would say, tangible, improvements, in our opinion. From my perspective, I would like to focus on the implementation of the do no significant harm, which is also proving a very controversial issue within the European Parliament. In our opinion, and I want to make this clear, we do welcome the fact that you do have the do no significant harm applied. It's clear that, when, public money is involved, it should not be, detrimental to, the EU's ambitions, towards climate neutrality. Having said that, and this is important, and we've highlighted this, the best is the enemy of the good. And what do I mean by this? We don't want that principle applied so rigorously that it would essentially deny funding to activities which have an embedded, carbon footprint. So, a cement plant or a critical raw materials, investment. If you apply that too vigorously, you would deny access to funding for such activities. And what that means is that these activities then are actually outsourced to third countries, and often we end up importing. And this also is not only, negative in terms of sometimes resilience and security objectives, but we often import a much higher carbon footprint. So what we are saying is apply this principle proportionally. Yes, I've exceeded my time, so I apologize for that. So I hand over to the co-rapporteur.
Yes, you will still have the floor later to react to the questions, and I would like to hand the floor to Dominika Biegon.
Yes, the performance regulation basically consists only of a couple of pages, and the bulk or the core of the regulation is actually a very enormously long annex. And you wouldn't expect such a regulation, which basically consists of an annex, to be a political regulation. But it is a political regulation. It's highly political because the performance regulation defines how to define performance of EU funds. And it defines result indicators and output indicators, and only if beneficiaries show that they have implemented these indicators will money flow. So the watershed in comparison to the current period is that performance of funding is linked to the disbursement of funds. And this is what makes the regulation inherently political. And it is not only a monitoring tool, but a political steering tool for the allocation of money. As I said, as Konstantinos has said, we generally welcome the regulation, but from my perspective, we have both
identified some challenges when implementing the regulation, and I, from my perspective, have focused on the challenges related to the implementation of social investments. And three core demands with this respect I would like to highlight. We demand more flexibility in the framework, in particular for social investments, allowing political authorities to apply the cost-based approach in some restricted and justified cases. We propose a more narrow definition of social spending, basically focusing on ESF core objectives, that is qualification and training, poverty reduction, and so on. And we propose a horizontal application of social conditionalities, meaning that only those companies should be eligible for EU funding that apply collective agreements or commit to site retention or offer qualification and training, while of course respecting the varieties of social dialogue in the member states. Maybe I end with the final statement that this regulation is very controversially discussed in the European Parliament. The horizontal principles, gender budgeting, social spending, do no significant harm, are highly questioned by parts of the European Parliament. I appreciate the approach I could take with the rapporteur on this issue. I think we make a very constructive and tangible proposals, and I hope we can find your support.
Thank you. And now I open the floor for the debate. So the first is Luca Jaillet.
Thank you, Madam President. I have the honor to chair the study group, and I have to say two things. First, this is, as the rapporteur has said, the highest political document of all the next MFF, for the reason that the rapporteur has already represented. And second, the rapporteur has done an impressive work. Please have a look also to all the detailed annexes where there is all the intervention on suggestion of amending the annexes that is becoming the most political part of the new regulation. This document is relevant, and where is the risk of what the debate that is going on in the Parliament? Not only because it will change the system of payment. The payment will be done as in the RRF model under the report on the performances, but also because it becomes the way to link the MFF to the country-specific recommendation and to the national budget. And you do this if you have a clear set of indicators to measure the effect impact of reform and investment. If you do not have a proper set of indicators or an overburden of indicators, or you will destroy the system as someone in the Parliament want to do, you will finally do not have any control of the impact. You will destroy at the end EU budget. Thank you.
So I will really ask the speakers to stick to the timing. You have 1 minute. The next speaker is Esbel Talba.
Hello. Good morning. I will speak in Spanish. Bueno, yo creo que esto es un muy buen dictamen y que se ha hecho muy buen trabajo. Yo he sido parte del grupo de estudio y quiero destacar y agradecer sinceramente a los ponentes por el trabajo y por su generosidad, por la complejidad de la cuestión y también por su disposición para buscar encaje a las distintas aportaciones que han habido a lo largo del debate que hemos tenido. Como comentaba Dominica, el marco de rendimiento yo creo que no es un ejercicio de transparencia, es una herramienta de política económica y las políticas tienen que ser coherentes, ¿no? Todas las piezas deben apuntar en la misma dirección estratégica. Y en ese sentido yo quería poner en valor a lo que recoge el dictamen en relación al principio de Do Not Significant Harm, y la defensa, ¿no? Porque la defensa, como sabemos, es uno de los ámbitos de gasto que más crece en el presupuesto y era completamente invisible a este marco. Así que yo creo que proponer limitar la extensión de este principio de no causar un perjuicio significativo o de no hacer daño es un primer paso necesario y que va en la dirección correcta. Por lo tanto, yo animo a votar a favor.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mr. Bogdan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will speak in Croatian. Dobar dan, sve vas lijepo pozdravljam i htio bi u biti pohvaliti i zahvaliti se reporterima na ovako kvalitetnom mišljenju. Ovo je jedan vrlo važan fajl koji će u okviru uspješnosti će definirati u biti kako će biti fondovi za sve korisnike. Ono što mi se najviše sviđa u vašem mišljenju je amandmani koji ste predložili komisiji. Mislim da je amandman 1 vrlo, vrlo kvalitetna stvar i da je potrebno naglasiti da taj ulaganja u socijalni dio moraju biti vezana za ono što je bazično za Europski socijalni fond plus, a to je i treninzi i zapošljavanje i to, a ne ostale stvari, obzirom da je to bilo dosta nejasno u samom prijedlogu. Evo, još jednom bih vam se htio zahvaliti stvarno, jer je to jako važan fajl, a nekako se stekao dojam da nije toliko važan u samom procesu višegodišnjeg financijskog okvira. A taj aneks je nešto što će definirati sve, od obveza za korisnike do svega ostaloga. Tako da stvarno puno vam hvala na stvarno iscrpnom i dobrom mišljenju.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker is Gabor Elő.
Dear Chair, dear members, thank you for the field. I'm coming from Hungary and I'm representing academic workers from Hungary in EESC. Almost all members know that election in our country changed the relationship of European funds we can reach. Also it is known that the time is very short, especially in the academic field, to the end of August, what I am representing. I would like to emphasize here that besides the measurable parameters, which is very good in this report, it is very important to respect special conditions which is present now, for example, in our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I give the floor to Florian Marin. Micro. Micro, yeah, it's still green. Yes, it's fine, now it's red.
It's working?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So I'm totally supporting the rapporteur and the co-rapporteur in the opinion because I think that they've done a great job. To be crystal clear, this is crucial for the future absorption and for the implementation of the 2028-2034 programming period. It is also critical for the future of the cohesion policy and common agriculture policy, because if we will not spend those money in accordance to the performance framework delivered by the Commission, well, we cannot defend this policy in the future. So I think that the rapporteur and the co-rapporteur should be well involved in the Parliament, in the future discussions, in order to promote what it is in the opinion. Thank you once again also for accepting my amendments. I wasn't part of the study group, but you have done a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I give the floor to Ms. Rosinova.
Thank you very much, and I also want to congratulate the rapporteurs and the members of the study group and everyone who contributed to this opinion, because as was said, this is really the way how we can measure the real impact of European funding. And quite often it is underestimated, but the performance indicators quite often would lead to financial corrections, especially when we talk about investments in human capital, especially when we talk about the European Social Fund. I would strongly recommend supporting this opinion, and also the proposal that was made by the opinion to the proposal of the Commission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I give the floor to the rapporteur and co-rapporteur. First is Konstantinos. 1 minute.
Yes, no, but thank you for the positive comments. I mean, the only thing what I can say is I think we should try to work on this in the parliaments, because I think the whole debate around the do no significant harm has been politicized, and I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding about what this is. But otherwise, thank you very much for the positive comments.
Dominika?
Yeah, from my side also, thank you very much for the supportive comments. I must say I'm a little bit proud to have contributed to such a broad consensus and constructive consensus. Maybe final word would be appreciation also for the Secretariat, for Gerald, who has made so many appointments, for the Secretariat, who have included all the amendments to the annex and so on. It was a lot of work for them as well, and I'm happy if we have a good follow-up on this in the European Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, and you have received the amendments that they were accepted. So I need to ask if everybody is in favor. Nobody against. Okay, perfect. So now we go to the vote on the opinion, and I declare the vote open. And the vote is closed. The result of the vote is 165 votes in favor, 3 against and 1 abstention. Congratulations to the rapporteur and co-rapporteur. And now I would like to invite to the floor Marco Wagner. We will be debating and voting on 10.881 on effective simplification of transport legislation while maintaining high social standards. And the rapporteur is Marco Wagner. He is coming. So Marco, you will have 4 minutes to present the opinion. Take your time, take a breath. So you are ready, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, dear Elena. I will make my presentation in French. La Commission européenne a demandé au CESE d'examiner la législation européenne en matière de transport afin d'identifier des postes de simplification administrative, tout en maintenant des normes élevées sur le plan social, environnemental et pour la protection des consommateurs. C'est un chantier considérable. L'acquis communautaire dans ce domaine compte en effet plus de 800 actes. Dans le temps limité nous a imparti, il n'était tout simplement pas possible d'analyser l'ensemble de ces 800 actes en détail. Toutefois, grâce au travail de notre groupe d'études et aux contributions des parties prenantes, nous avons pu dégager un certain nombre de recommandations concrètes. Il faut d'abord rappeler que cette législation est complexe par nature, car elle couvre plusieurs modes de transport, la route, le rail, l'aviation, le maritime. Cela entraîne parfois des chevauchements. Mais cette complexité a une raison d'être. Elle permet d'assurer le bon fonctionnement du marché intérieur, la sécurité, la compétitivité, ainsi que la protection des travailleurs, des consommateurs et de l'environnement. Autrement dit, une simplification, oui, mais sans sacrifier ces objectifs essentiels, donc pas de dérégulation. Un autre point important, les travailleurs du transport ont une réalité particulière, marquée par une forte mobilité. Cela justifie des règles sociales adaptées à chaque secteur. De même, il ne faut pas oublier que les transports publics sont un service d'intérêt économique général. Si je devais résumer notre approche en 3 mots, ce serait numérisation, harmonisation et interopérabilité. Par exemple, le règlement sur les informations électroniques relatives au transport de marchandises pourrait être mieux utilisé et élargi à d'autres données, comme les licences, les permis de conduire ou encore les informations sur le détachement des travailleurs. Mais pour réussir cette transition, il faudra aussi des moyens. Nous recommandons donc de mobiliser des financements européens pour accompagner les entreprises dans la numérisation. Une législation plus claire, plus cohérente et mieux appliquée rendra aussi le secteur plus attractif, notamment pour les femmes et les jeunes qui y sont encore trop peu représentés. Et il est essentiel que les règles soient respectées par tous, y compris par les opérateurs de pays tiers, afin d'assurer une concurrence équitable. Nous proposons également de clarifier les responsabilités dans les chaînes de sous-traitance, souvent très complexes dans la logistique, afin d'améliorer la transparence et la protection sociale. Le dialogue social a aussi un rôle clé à jouer. Ce sont les partenaires sociaux qui connaissent le mieux les réalités du terrain et les difficultés quotidiennes. Enfin, sur la protection des consommateurs, nous recommandons un système d'indemnisation des passagers plus simple, numérisé et automatisé. Aujourd'hui, les litiges sont fréquents et peuvent générer des tensions. Une harmonisation des règles, notamment sur les bagages à main dans l'aviation, serait également utile. Je vous invite également à consulter le chapitre 3, notamment de l'avis, qui contient de nombreuses recommandations spécifiques par mode de transport. Pour terminer, j'aimerais remercier le président de notre groupe d'études, John Comer, et les membres de notre groupe. Nous étions seulement 6, mais les débats avaient lieu dans un esprit très constructif et de manière très polie, même si nous ne sommes pas d'accord sur tous les points. J'aimerais particulièrement remercier ma conseillère, Sabine Trier. Ses conseils et connaissances étaient très précieuses pour moi. Et finalement, un grand merci au secrétariat de la section 10 et notamment Alexandra Sarman-Grilk qui a organisé nos travaux. Merci beaucoup.
Merci Marco. And now I open the floor. Passo la parola a Luigi Uggiatti. Luigi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President. I'll speak in Italian. Il settore dei trasporti è determinante per ciò che ha generato in Europa, sia in termini economici che come sostegno all'integrazione. Talmente importante che genera il 5% del PIL ed una occupazione di oltre 10 milioni di lavoratori. Oggi viviamo nell'era digitale. Durante il G7 un tavolo di discussione è stato dedicato all'intelligenza artificiale. È chiaro che queste tecnologie impattano anche nel settore dei trasporti per contribuire a creare efficienza, risparmio energetico e tutela dell'ambiente. A tal fine è necessaria una semplificazione ed uniformità delle norme che regolano il settore in tutti i Paesi europei, ma è altrettanto importante tenere in considerazione i diritti dei lavoratori e le criticità che impattano in modo specifico sulle lavoratrici. È necessario fare attenzione ai subappalti che possono generare dumping contrattuali, quindi servono responsabilità solidali. Infine, c'è il tema sociale dei diritti dei passeggeri, diritto ad avere dei servizi efficienti e di qualità e il diritto ad avere dei rimborsi veloci e semplificati. Grazie.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mira Maria Danisman. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I would like to go back to basics. If simplification is successful, whether it is in the transport sector or elsewhere, it will enable public authorities and also businesses to focus on what they are ought to be doing, so serving citizens and consumers rather than spending time and resources on unnecessary administrative burdens. By streamlining the rules in the transport sector, I believe there is a lot of potential. First of all, we can make transport operations more efficient and less costly. We can accelerate investments in transport infrastructure, and we can also enable SME companies to devote their limited resources to renewing their fleets and investing in digital solutions instead of excessive compliance requirements. We should not forget that simplification is one of this Commission's key commitments to European citizens. It is an important promise and one that needs to be delivered, and also this includes the transport sector. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Pedro Urbani.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Vice President. I was a member of the study group, and given of my working relationships with the rapporteur, I will speak in French. Je voudrais tout d'abord vous féliciter pour ce document, pour tout le groupe, tous les membres, qui est logiquement structuré et très bien présenté. Le texte est équilibré. Comme l'indique son titre, il s'inscrit dans une logique de protection sociale d'abord, tout en reconnaissant à plusieurs reprises le problème des charges administratives pesant sur les entreprises. La simplification ne signifie pas dérégulation et ne doit pas se limiter à une réorganisation des règles, mais doit se traduire par un allègement concret pour les entreprises, c'est-à-dire 1. Moins de formalités administratives et une réduction mesurable des coûts. 2. Une plus grande sécurité juridique. Et troisièmement, une compétitivité européenne renforcée. Les problèmes structurels liés à la simplification de la législation en matière de transport sont la complexité des fragmentations de la législation, la pénurie de main-d'œuvre, qui est un facteur très critique aujourd'hui, les lacunes administratives et en matière de numérisation, et le problème des chaînes de sous-traitance. Merci pour votre attention et je vous recommande donc d'approuver ce rapport. Merci.
Thank you. And Marco, you have 2 minutes to respond your questions or comments.
Thank you very much, Elena. To Mr. Uggiati, you mentioned indeed that transport contributes to 5% of GDP in the European Union, employs 10 million people, which is very, very important. On artificial intelligence, we talk a lot of digitalization in the opinion. Not only AI, but AI might be important in the future. But it's always important to keep in mind that the human factor is also important. Humans can cause accidents, it is true, but AI must be very trustworthy to implement it, and I think the human, in the end, the human being and the worker and the company must be in control of this. Thanks, Mira Maria, for the remarks on simplification. I think it is important to have simplification if there are redundancies, but it's also important to have an impact assessment regularly if these measures contribute really to a simplification, or is it not adding another layer of burden on the companies, which might be the case also.
Thank you. So now we will need to vote on the amendments. We will therefore link the amendment 1 and 3, and they will be presented and voted together. So I would like to ask Mira Maria Danisman to present the amendment.
Thank you very much. Well, I will have to be very honest with you. I do not understand how limiting subcontracting levels can be described as simplification. It's not simplification, it's an additional restriction on how transport services are organized. Transport operations are often cross-border, and they also involve multiple operators. If a truck, for example, breaks down in another member state, if there is a sudden driver shortage, or if a port becomes congested, companies need to be able to find replacement capacity quickly. And in many cases, that means using specialized subcontractors at short notice. If we start limiting subcontracting levels, the consequences will not be better worker protection. The consequences will be fewer options to respond to disruptions, more delays in supply chains, higher costs for consumers, and ultimately less efficient transport services. Also, if subcontracting opportunities are restricted, smaller operators may lose business, while larger operators can actually consolidate more activities in-house. So please, we should not restrict legitimate business arrangements that keep people and goods moving across Europe. So for these reasons, I ask you to vote in favor of this amendment. Thank you.
And Maria Nicolopoulou will be speaking against this amendment.
Thank you. I will speak in Spanish. El texto original del documento ya es un compromiso. La posición que tenemos desde el Grupo 2 es que tendríamos que eliminar directamente la subcontratación por todo lo que conlleva. Pero es verdad que sí que entendemos lo que comentaba Mira María, ¿no? Que ciertos aspectos de la operativa a lo mejor necesitan ser externalizados, pero eso es muy diferente a que una empresa subcontrate a otra por toda la operativa y esta a su vez a otra y a otra y a otra hasta el infinito. Entonces, en estos casos que queremos limitar, los consumidores pierden porque no saben dónde acudir, dónde hay problemas, hay muchísima presión en los salarios y en las condiciones laborales, incluso para las empresas matrices pierden completamente el control de la operativa y eso conlleva a alto riesgo de litigios u otras obligaciones legales que no se respetan. Entonces, consideramos que es peor para todos. Y también recalcar que el Parlamento Europeo en febrero aprobó una resolución precisamente sobre esta línea y pide a la Comisión que haga una propuesta legislativa para abordar las cadenas de subcontratación y el papel de los intermediarios. Entonces, os invito a votar no a la enmienda.
Marco, you have a quick reply to this.
Indeed, we recognize in the opinion the need for business for subcontracting to react to short-term needs and ensure flexibility. But adding more layers of subcontracting is, in my view, not a simplification, but it's indeed a complexification, and it makes it harder for, in case of disputes, for workers, consumers, and maybe also companies to know whom to address to. So I ask you to vote, please, against this amendment.
I therefore open the vote on the amendment. The vote is open. Yes, 1 and 3, they are linked as they were presented. And I close the vote. The result is 60 votes in favor, 110 against, and 8 abstention. Therefore, the amendment is rejected. Now, I would like to ask Maria Danisman to present the amendments 2 and 4, because they are linked, and they will be presented together, and we will be voting further on these 2. So, Mira, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I support strong passenger rights, but I do not support a blanket rule that makes transport operators responsible for strike action that they cannot influence, prevent, or foresee. For example, in the case of air transport, strikes may be carried out by airport staff, route handlers, security personnel, air traffic controllers, who are often entirely outside the airline's control. We saw this only a few weeks ago, and actually quite often in Brussels, where we had 2 weeks ago a wildcat strike without a prior notice by air traffic controllers that shut down the Belgian airspace and caused around 200 flight cancellations. Airlines had to assist passengers and deal with the disruption, but they had no control over the dispute that caused it. Being affected by industrial action does and should not automatically mean being responsible for it. That is why industrial action should be assessed case by case when determining whether an extraordinary circumstance exists to exempt operators from passenger compensation. For these reasons, I ask you to support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, and I give the floor to Maria Nicolopoulou to speak against this amendment.
Sí, muchísimas gracias. Tengo la sensación que algunos creen que organizar una huelga es como organizar una fiesta. Y os aseguro que nada más lejos de la realidad. Es una acción que requiere mucha organización, mucho esfuerzo, incluso para las personas que participan hay pérdida salarial. Entonces no es algo que se hace ligeramente. Incluso las huelgas salvajes, no es que alguien un día se levanta y decide hacer una huelga, son problemas que se alargan en el tiempo y este es el último remedio a negociaciones fallidas. Entonces, las acciones sindicales por defecto son previsibles. Y mira, María tiene razón en una cosa que dice. El debate, sin embargo, no tendría que ser si tenemos que ir caso a caso a ver si tenemos que verlo por separado, sino quién de los operadores de los ecosistemas de transporte son responsables de estas huelgas y tendrían que hacerse cargo de las indemnizaciones o otros gastos a los que se incurren. Pero no las huelgas, ni los huelguistas, sino los diferentes operadores que están al juego. Gracias. Votar en contra de la enmienda.
And 1 minute reply from Marco.
Yes, as we write in the opinion that industrial action can be prevented in most of the cases by good social dialogue, and a case-by-case analysis again would not be a simplification, but it would be a complexification because there would be more disputes and probably also court cases which would add administrative burden. So what we propose is the simpler version. And I suggest to vote against the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we need to vote on the amendments 2 and 4, so I declare the vote open. Now I close the vote, and the result is 64 votes in favor, 115 against, and 8 abstentions. The amendment is rejected. And now we will vote on the entire opinion. The vote is open. And the vote is closed. The result is 161 votes in favor, 17 against, and 8 abstentions. Congratulations to the rapporteur. So it was the last opinion, but we still have some work to do. There are the decisions to be taken by the Assembly. You know that all the information is published on the members' portal under PSP document. And I need to inform you that there is a change in section membership. The following changes in section memberships have been requested: from Elena Alexandra Calistru to leave the section Rex and go to INT, from Lord Niclo from Rex to ECHO, and Sif Holst from ECHO to INT. Nobody is against. So now I need to inform you about the own initiative opinions. And these are for your approval. First opinion of CCMI, virtuous circularity of energies in Europe. Second is building a skilled workforce for strategic autonomy, advancing circular economy preparedness. And third is fostering innovation in the desalination industry. These are the opinions for CCMI. And then an opinion for REX, assessment of the current state of play of relations between organized civil society in the European Union, the United States and Canada, and evaluation of the potential for more structured reforms of transatlantic cooperation. So I ask you for your approval. Nobody is against, so these are deemed to be approved. And then I come to the point on any other business, and I put on my glasses to see. I see you. Yes, please, Mr. Podrušík, go ahead. And then there is Lucia behind you. So first of all, Mr. Podrušík.
Köszönöm szépen a szót, elnök asszony. Magyarul fogok beszélni. Tisztelt elnök asszony, kedves tagok! Egy személyes tapasztalatot szeretnék megosztani a bizottsággal. Ez azonban már rég nem csupán rólam szól, mindannyiunkat érint. Az EGSB tagjainak feladata, hogy véleményt alakítsanak ki, azt képviseljék és kiálljanak mellette. Ez a megbízatásunk lényege. Éppen ezért elfogadhatatlan, hogy egy tag bíróság elé citáljon egy másik tagot pusztán azért, mert az hangot adott a véleményének. Ez nem vita, ez megfélemlítés. Amikor valaki egy véleményre nem érvekkel, hanem büntetőjogi fenyegetéssel válaszol, akkor nem csak egy tagot támad meg, hanem magának a bizottságnak a szabadságát is. Ilyen helyzetben a hallgatás nem lehet megoldás. Állást kell foglalnunk abban, hogy az ilyen magatartás összeegyeztethető-e az EGSB értékeivel, méltóságával és közösségével. Tisztelettel kérem az EGSB elnökének írásos állásfoglalását a témával kapcsolatban. Köszönöm szépen!
Thank you, Mr. Podrušík. And I have seen another hand. Lucia Studničná, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's not going to be even a minute. Some 2 or 3 weeks ago, I managed to lose my bank card somewhere in the committee. So still before I started really panicking, the card has been found, has been transmitted to me. So I just wanted to thank whomever from the members and the administration that helped me to save and solve the situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a good news. And I don't see any other hands, so thank you for your comments. And last point that I need to read out is that the next plenary session will take place on Wednesday and Thursday, the 15th and 16th July 2026 in the Gasperi room in this very building of the European Commission. And the session is set to open on 15th July at 2:30, and the proceedings will resume on 16th July 9 in the morning. So this is the end of the plenary session. Thank you very much and have a nice afternoon.